Travelers on the Omnibus occasionally touches on mature subject matter with mature language. As such, audience discretion is advised. Welcome to Travelers on the Omnibus, a field trip through nerd and pop culture. My name is James McCarthy.
I'm Brady Davis.
I'm Jody.
I'm Ethan Skinner.
Later on tonight, we're going to be talking about the 1986 cult classic, Night of the Creeps. But before we get into that, what have we been up to? Brady Davis, what have you been up to?
So I watched a couple of movies. It's funny, we watched Night of the Creeps and we watched it on Tubi. There's something else that's on Tubi that I watch.
Helsing?
Well, Stan Helsing is on there, but I wouldn't touch that shit with a 10-foot pole. I watched Hundreds of Beavers. It is on Tubi. Please go watch it. It is slapstick, screwball, black and white, silent, completely silent.
Completely silent.
Comedy. Is about this guy who was an Applejack farmer, and his Applejack farm burns down, and he becomes a trapper. And he's not very good at it, and then he becomes kind of good at it, and then slightly better at it. And he's trapping animals that are just dudes in suits. They are all. If he traps a beaver, it is a beaver in a suit.
Audience, if you could imagine,
This is a black and white silent movie from the year 2022.
He starts off with almost no clothes. There is a moment where he is completely naked, but he kills a raccoon, and takes it and gets it skinned. He has a little thing with the
Spoilers.
with the chick who does all the skinning. Her dad's like the merchant who gives out the equipment and things like that. But yeah, it is very funny. I think it goes a little long for what it is. It is definitely a movie.
Well, it's definitely a movie.
I have extra on that.
I know,
it's not
I
just
understand,
a movie.
but the pause was very, very, very.
Well,
there.
I wanted. It's a movie that you can definitely put on, like at a party or something else, where like you're not necessarily paying full attention to the entire.
you don't need context
because it gets into kind of this little cycle of him going to these different areas. It is funny because every time he goes by where the beavers are building their dam, it just gets like bigger and bigger. It's like a fucking ziggurat by the end of this shit. And there's some things that the
was
beavers
this done by Pasmos Cosmatos?
No,
just checking.
It is done by Mike Cheslick.
Cheslick, yeah.
Okay.
It is a funny movie. They have a lot of good bits in it. And it's all bits. Like he meets up with this other fur trapper guy who teaches him how to trap. The dude's got dogs with him, and like when he sticks the dogs on like a beaver or something, they just kick the shit out of it. Like it's very funny.
You say put this. This is the movie that, like you said, most everybody is like gonna like just mull around and like every so often glance it, except for those two introverts. They're going to meet and fall in love watching this movie at that party.
Like I said, I think it's a little bit long for what it is.
Hour
if
48 minutes.
If it was closer to like
Jesus, yeah.
If it was closer to an hour 30, I think it would be a whole lot better. Because a lot of it, he's literally going around in a circle to these different areas,
That's
checking his traps and
108
shit.
minutes. If you were dyslexic, Matt Pinfield would show up.
Which is why I think it's better, or like maybe watching it with a few people. Where you can kind of entertain each other when there are these little lulls, but there's a lot of bits in there, and there are funny bits. Like it's pretty. If you like slapstick, especially when it gets going towards the end, it gets pretty crazy.
One of the images that pop up is the main character running away from a horde of beavers.
Yes,
and it just reminds me of the Jack Sparrow scene when he's running away on the beach.
Yeah. Since he's trapping these beavers and killing them. There's a Sherlock Holmes and Watson beaver that are going behind trying to figure out what he's doing.
God.
Does he have
this
a hat?
This is very strange to me for you to offer this movie and me to be like, what the fuck?
This is
a complete role reversal.
It is a completely surreal movie. The guy who's the star of it, he's in another movie called Lake Michigan Monster, which I think is very similar. I think it's low budget. This was only like $150,000.
Yeah.
They only had like 12 suits, I think, and they made it work.
Duplicated it in post or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I think it's better watched with a group of people, either at like a party or something like that. But it is fun, and I would definitely recommend it. Something else that I would also recommend is I found out that. So backstory, I was in my teens when the Shrek movies started coming out, and they were kind of a tour de force, so to speak, and they had diminishing returns. And to be honest, I think that like the first Shrek is a good movie, but it doesn't hold up as well as it used to because there's a whole lot of references that like a lot of people aren't going to get watching out. You show it to a kid nowadays and they're going to like some stuff, but they're not going to really. I don't think that most of them are going to like really connect with it. But something that I do think is definitely going to stand the test of time is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Yes.
This is on Prime, and when I found that out, I was like, "Oh, I'm watching this," because I've been wanting to watch it for a while because I've heard only good things about it. It is a phenomenal movie. You don't have to know anything about anything.
You don't need to know anything about the first.
Yeah, they sum up who Puss in Boots is in the first like musical number, but like
you only need to know who Kitty is. That's it.
And it's not like the art style is very good. It hews close to like a Into the Spider-Verse type thing, but doesn't go quite as over the top as that. But it's still very, very colorful and over the top. The action is very good. It does a very interesting thing where there are actually 3 villains. And it doesn't feel overstuffed because they all do different things. You have Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, and they're kind of like they're not really bad people, but they're bad people. Like
they're hunting Puss.
Yeah, they're hunting him, and they're trying to. Everybody's trying to get this wishing star because there's a map to it. And they all have their own reasons. Yeah, there's Jack. Jack is absolutely unrepentantly evil. Like he has no redeeming qualities, and he's terrible. And then you have literally Death, which is just a force of nature that shows up that scares the ever-loving shit out of Puss every once in a while.
I love Death.
Yeah, Death is really cool.
Amazing.
Death is really, really cool. He just shows up, scares the shit out of Puss in Boots, and then leaves until the very end. Like
the idea is like cats have 9 lives, and Puss is on his last life, and he's taking his life for granted. Death just wants to go ahead and end him.
Yeah, he sees Puss is having 9 lives as an affront to himself.
It's a mockery of him.
So he's trying to take care of that. And he's doing it by just tormenting him every once in a while.
Death is starting to become one of my favorite animated villains.
Oh yeah, he's a phenomenal villain. They're all 3 like really good villains, like and they're high quality, but they all do different things. So they occupy different a lot of times in a movie, like 3 villains would be way too much, but like the way that they fill different roles and kind of weave in and out of each other and is handled really, really well. And like all of the characters are really well. It's a stacked fucking cast. You got Florence Pugh plays Goldilocks. I saw that and I was like, what the fuck? Olivia Colman is Mama Bear. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah. John Mulaney is Jack. He also plays.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I need to know who plays Death.
Death, he is a Brazilian actor. He was also in Civil War, if I'm not mistaken. He was the main male character in Civil War. I can't remember his name, but he was very, very good in it.
I'm assuming it's going to be Wolf because that's all. It's Wagner Moura.
Yeah, he's been in a couple. I think he was in one of the seasons of Narcos as well.
Narcos Mexico.
Okay, he was in multiple ones of those.
He was in Elysium.
Okay,
The Gray Man.
Barely remember. Nobody remembers that movie. Yeah, he's been on a lot of stuff. He's really good. Is he in Civil War?
Yes, he is.
Okay, yeah. He's the main male reporter in Civil War. He's acting opposite Kirsten Dunst. But yeah. Really good movie. Action is some of the best action. Like that last fight, I think is like
the Puss in Death fight.
Yeah, that the Puss in Death fight at the very end is like so fucking good. There's no annoying characters. Like the character that you think is going to be annoying, in fact, turns out to be very not annoying. Like it's very funny. Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna hate this character, and by the end of it, you're like, oh, this is like the cutest character ever. Jesus. But yeah. really, really good movie. I would definitely say watch that. If you have children, make them watch it because they need high quality animated stuff.
Like on the spectrum of like a movie having multiple villains, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is on the good spectrum, the good end. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is on the very far end.
Yeah, yeah.
As much as I like,
or Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Definitely check that out. It's a high quality movie. I know it was nominated. It didn't win the Oscar that year because it was not last year but the year before.
2022.
Yeah. Something else won. I can't remember.
I will look up.
But yeah. So I've been doing that, and I don't know. I'm still doing Magic. I had one deck last week. Now I have 3 decks.
Oh yeah, that's how it goes.
This is your season of Magic. Like the fall season is going to be Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Winter might change that, or you might continue on. But at the very least, you got your season is starting.
Yeah, I spent enough money. I needed to keep doing it. Although I haven't spent near as much money as you possibly can.
Fallacy.
Yeah, that's how that works.
There's a lot of money you could be spending right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have like 4 more deck lists that I want to like put together.
I like it.
It might be the thing where it came out like late 2022, but didn't get into the Oscars until 2023.
Okay, so what's it? Did it get? Did it? Well, if it was last year, it lost to The Boy and the Heron, which is that's going to happen. But yeah,
because what I'm saying,
I think it was 2022.
Okay, because 22 was Encanto.
Okay, losing to I can't remember. There's no. This does not matter whatsoever. Yeah. But yeah, so I got.
I got it. My apologies.
Shit.
It was 2023.
Okay.
It was nominated, but it lost to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was. It was.
It was a 2022 film. It was nominated for the 2023.
I need to
Oscars.
watch Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
I've seen it seen it advertised.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix.
It is,
but it's in the Criterion Collection, so you can get it from there.
Yeah,
I want to give a quick break in for a quick health update. If you like Minute Maid 0 calorie from Coca-Cola, it is being recalled because it is filled with sugar.
Oh, okay then.
That is your health update from the Travelers returning to
Well, it wasn't very long ago that a whole bunch of that they found out that there was a whole lot of lead in Lunchables, specifically the pepperoni pizza ones.
Oh,
so that's great.
Good thing I didn't eat the pepperoni pizza ones.
Yeah, So it's Magic. I've upgraded my Mothman deck a decent amount.
Nice.
Of course, I could spend more money on it. And
right.
Really and truly, like with most of these, it's getting like better, like a little better land base or something like that.
That's where over half of your budget typically goes to.
And I don't want to do that. I'm fine with like cheap shit because I'm not.
You can have a good deck with nothing but basics.
Yeah.
In fact, basics would override a lot of the tap lands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because with you playing green, you have access to like all of the like 3 mana ramps, cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Harrow, things like that.
The splash green is like probably the easiest way to do that because you can like there's a term we use. It's called X green. So if you ever in the future want to build like a 5-color deck, and you might, it'd be 5-color green. And that just means that green would be like, forest would be half your mana base so that you could consistently play your ramp spells on turn 2 and 3 so you can get your basics out for your other colors.
Yeah.
That makes
Which
sense.
should all be splash colors for the most part as well.
Then I ordered one of the Boomborough Precon decks, the Bellow Bard, the Brambles.
The raccoon.
Yes.
Yeah, I like him. I've got, and then a lot of the cards that I ordered to kind of buff him up have come in. I'm really excited about that one because he seems like very fun to play with.
He seems real fun.
I've made a deck list where it's because he animates artifacts and enchantments of 4 or higher. You just run vehicles.
Yeah,
and you
I've
still
got
get the attack
vehicles.
trigger.
There's some vehicles that I need to get.
Sky Sovereign's flagship.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I've got that one in there. There was Nautiloid ship was one that was talked about that's really good. But that one's I just don't want to spend. That was about $5-6, and I just don't want to.
There's a new one that came out in Bloomberg called Hedge Trimmer or something like that. 4 mana, luckily.
Yeah.
Whenever it attacks, you mill. One or
two
cards.
Holder gave me that card for the what was the other one?
So good.
There was one, I can't remember what it's called, but it is it's normally 9 mana, but you can cast it as a prototype for like 5 mana, and it comes out and creates 2 servos, and you don't worry about it being coming out. You cast it for cheaper, and you don't worry about it coming out lesser, being a lesser power, because it's going to be a 4/4 anyway, with him. So there's a lot of little things that they're pretty cool with him. That I'm interested in playing.
Does it say non-creature artifact?
It does not. It says non-equipment, non-aura.
I have to check because there's like the same thing with like enchantment creatures, especially like
the reason why I ask is like there's a for example there's a 5/5 for 2 that can attack or block unless an opponent has no cards, player has no cards in their hand, but your commander wouldn't care about that, but it's an artifact creature, and it's a 5/5 for 2 mana. So, I mean, if it doesn't say non-creature artifact,
he just says equipment, non-equipment, non-aura.
Yeah, non-equipment, non-aura. Yeah.
Okay, so you could definitely run that guy.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting things that you can do with that one. I also have most of the cards for the night deck list that I saw. That's really fun. It's the was it Sidar Jabari of Zilfar or something like that? He seems really fun. And like just looking through the deck, like it's not like super powerful cards, but like the way all their synergies work with each other, like turns those wheels in my brain. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how this works. Like it seems like a very fun deck, and I'm really excited to play that one.
You should also run Pentavite in the Raccoon deck.
Okay.
He's a 7-cost 0/0, but he comes in with like some counters.
Okay.
And you can like pay mana to take a counter off and make a 1/1. Or you could like it had another ability to where you could put counters back onto it.
Okay. Pentavite.
Pentavite.
Okay, I found Pentavis.
Oh, that's it. It's
Pentavis.
Pentavis makes Pentavite tokens.
Yes.
Yeah. Like just take a gander at that, and
oh yeah, that does look interesting. Okay, yeah. But yeah, so I'm doing Magic, I guess. I got like a few other deck lists that I'm eventually wanting to do that look very fun. But at least I have 3 right now to work with.
What's on your mind, Ethan?
Walking Ballista. Pay 0, it's a 4/4 automatically during your turn.
Yeah, but he cares about mana cost 4. Does he not?
No.
Is it power?
No, it's mana cost.
It's mana cost.
Is it mana cost?
That's why when I said Lupine prototype, I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't work. The 2 mana 5/5 doesn't work.
Another one that's like really good, but like it's an expensive card, so I'm not gonna get it anytime soon. Is Wandering Throne? Like that's
yeah.
But like that's a $15-$20 card, and it's like.
But you could run a card like Liquid Metal Coating, which is a 4 mana cost artifact that taps to make anything an artifact.
Oh, okay.
So that works.
That's interesting.
And
That's interesting. That would be very interesting because there's some other cards. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
I'll just start off with Magic. So I'm working on a list right now for the one of the cards out of Duskborn. It's the red-white doll.
Yes.
Okay. Not Annabelle. It's called something really close though.
Similar but legally distinct from Annabelle.
It's Arabella. Yeah. Not Annabelle. She's a 1/3 that says when she attacks, all of your opponents take damage equal to the like when she attacks every creature that you have that's 2 power or less, she deals damage equal to that amount of creatures to all of your opponents.
Okay.
So you gain that much life.
And you gain that much life. So if you got like 10 1/1s when she attacks, you get to deal 10 damage to all of your opponents. Also, there's a card that copies triggered abilities. There's actually more than one. So when she attacks, I can like copy the triggered ability on the stack and deal everybody 10 twice. So And there's also a lot of cards that like make creatures power 2 or less in red, especially unblockable, so that you could swing with her, keep your rest of your guys back to block with, and just swing with her and just deal everybody a bunch of damage. And if she's unblockable, then you don't have to worry about her dying, at least to combat damage.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that list. And I've been playing a lot of Vampire Survivors. Recently unlocked the Infinite Corridor.
Nice.
Which the way I did it, I don't know how people do these things, but I've unlocked the Rasma randomizer, which is like the tarot cards, and there's one that starts you with like all the starting items on the stage are like right where you're starting at,
and every 2 minutes afterward it draws them to you ever again.
Yeah,
okay.
every 2 minutes, normally, typically, it pulls like all the XP right in a circle around you. And so there were 2 items that I wanted to unlock on this one stage. The thing I didn't know though is that there are 4, because there are 2 rings and there are 2 Megiddo left and Megiddo right.
Yeah, basically 2 hilts, which you would think go to swords, but no, the hilt goes to the other hilt.
Okay.
Each one of these items is guarded by a boss that has at least 30,000 hit points to it. And so I started the game. This was like 2 days ago. I started the game with the tarot card where all the items were like right next to me. So I picked up all of the items, including the curse item. Whoops, that was a mistake.
Well, the gold ring and Megiddo right are both cursed.
Right.
Oh wait, okay.
I
So
picked
you
up the
were
skull too.
You picked. Oh
Yeah.
dear God
Yeah,
in heaven.
I lost that run, but the second
Yeah.
run, I went up to the skull and went, "No, thank you," because I knew I was going to run over it. So when I did that, each one of the bosses that were guarding those items were like all there, and I was on the boss rush stage, which is unlike the other stages that like have like almost no boundary to them whatsoever. This is a little tiny square, so you have these like 4 dudes that are just kind of slowly trying to like kill you while these like small mini bosses are coming in, and so I killed all 4 of them.
Nice.
In about 16, 17 minutes, I eventually killed them. That run, I didn't beat the stage though.
Okay.
And it was the third run, because at some point around like minute like 18, not death shows up, and like half the screen every time you go through it.
The blue death. Is it the blue death?
The blue death shows up. It's the 5-headed death one.
Okay, I know which one. Okay. Yeah.
And the blue death shows up, and another death shows. There's like a lot of things going on, and it summons like a whole crowd of enemies that go wash through like 1/3 of the stage. And if you're in that area, you are most certainly going to die. So I had just the perfect combination of things to be able to get through all of that. Like half the shit I had, including the tarot cards, like froze shit. So I was actually literally just walking through enemies while they're being frozen, with the Lancer and like 2 other things, and I picked up a card that let me like freeze like half the time. So I was able to move through shit. I couldn't kill it, but I was freezing it at the last couple of minutes.
Clock Lancet freezes everything in time, and
That's
then
it.
That's the prime, and then once you have the 2 rings, and it's one of the few items that you have to have everything leveled up for it. Because once you level up the 2 rings and the Clock Lancet, when a chest drops, you can get the Infinite Corridor.
Right.
And it's the Clock Lancet plus it sends out a wave like about every 5 to 10 seconds, depending on your cooldowns, that halves the HP of everything on the screen.
Jesus.
And it's absolutely necessary to get to minute 31.
Right.
Get the Laurel.
Yeah, I've got the Laurel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
finished minute 31.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a couple of stages.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'm not quite there.
So at minute 30, every enemy on the board despawns, and death shows up and murders you.
Yeah.
However, if you have the Vampire Cloak and the Infinite Corridor, you just keep freezing him in place. His health keeps lowering, and what he normally hits you for like 200 to 300 damage a hit, when you have 200 health max, he now hits you for only 10 apiece, and he freezes and also deals damage back to him. So eventually you kill him. and minute 31 is just the White Death comes from the left side of the screen and eats you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did get to that point on one of those levels. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was that 5-headed death dude. I did kill that guy.
That's so cathartic. Isn't
Yeah.
It? Oh my god.
It felt really good.
I hate when Blue Death comes with that fucking crab with the crab claws that start regular size and then get as big as the fucking screen.
I did kill the crab.
Yeah,
but
and then if you kill the crab, that wipes out. That wipes out that death.
Yeah,
Green Death is fucking annoying because you need to have like the pentagram or one other weapon that can do anything to them.
Right.
And when you're doing that, it's kind of taking away what your XP is because it's wiping out those enemies without creating XP. It's also wiping out the crystals. Gross.
Yeah. Pentagram's really hard to get. What was really frustrating is on the run where I was able to get all those items starting off and fight those 4 guys. I was trying to level up the Lancet to where I could get the Infinite Corridor or whichever one I needed to get to the Infinite Corridor. And I would hit a chest when all my weapons were maxed, and it kept like just giving me levels in all the like passive things that I had, which I had like 12 of.
Yeah.
Because you have to level up like the rings all the way up,
and they're level 9 apiece.
Yeah.
So you have to have 18 levels in those.
or the Megiddo like left and right. You have to have those leveled up in order for the weapon to evolve, whichever one you're trying to do there. So yeah. So that's been fun. I've been enjoying the hell out of that game. And watched the 3rd episode of Uzumaki. Still holding up really well. Getting close to the end. I think there's 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Which I've heard the reason for that is that the studio had a lot of issues with what was I don't know if it was budget or whatever, but I don't really think that they have to like really drag out Uzumaki more than 4 episodes. I think they can get it into 4 episodes. But it's gotten to the hospital section in the book, which is, if you've read that, I don't know, I can't remember. You haven't read that?
No, Junji Ito.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Bothers me. So
yeah,
I respect Junji.
It's nothing
Ito.
but body horror. Mostly.
Yeah.
I've never like had the interest to show it. However, it's more so like cultural osmosis. Like I've seen it to where I'm like, oh, it's Junji Ito.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll say
I can recognize it.
The Netflix show is more just spooky suspense horror stuff. Uzumaki is like, and Tomei are just body horror. There is a Tomei short in the Netflix series, but most of the Netflix stuff is just spooky, weird shit, mostly, and not just the human disfigurement that most of his stuff is. But that's really all for me.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Ethan, you're up.
So I've had TV shows and video games, and I've possibly found my favorite TV show moment of the year. Imagine, if you will,
All the people.
a dragon-sized demon giving a dragon a stunner, a stone cold stunner.
By God.
It is.
I was worried you were going to say hand job. I'm not kidding.
Hold on. I need context. What is the size of a dragon-sized demon?
okay.
What's a dragon?
It's a dragon-sized demon versus a dragon.
Okay, so they're both the same size.
They're both the same size,
Okay,
yes.
so kaiju. Okay.
Yes. It
Okay.
is- I'm watching season 3 of Vox Machina right now.
Okay.
And at some point, it gets to the part where
Don't spoil this show for me.
it's very minute.
Okay.
Like, it's not going to spoil
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
It gets to the point where a demon grows to the size of a dragon
Okay.
and fights a dragon.
Okay.
And at one point, he kicks. Imagine like where the abdomen of a dragon is. Kicks him in it, and then grabs his head and then just gives it a stunner.
Nice.
It is amazing.
I didn't know they were on season 3 of that show already.
Jesus, yeah.
Because the last time I checked, they were on season 2 just came out.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
good on them for that. I'm
is,
2 seasons behind apparently.
It is phenomenal, and I am enjoying it so much. The second TV show thing which Jay actually informed me on, is
based off of y'all and you informing us about this thing eventually coming out, but you didn't know where because they didn't know where.
Right, because they didn't tell us where. The Edge of Sleep is on Amazon Prime
Oh,
and is
okay.
available now.
Okay.
That again, though, is still weird to me because they didn't, according to Markiplier, Amazon didn't want them revealing that it was on Amazon Prime. I don't get that. Why put production or license something out for distribution and not tell, hey, everybody, like 2 weeks, Edge of Sleep is coming out. Like, that makes no sense to me.
It's very weird.
They gave a release date, but
It's already out.
it's already out. It was supposed to come out on the 18th.
The release date is literally going to be Friday, I believe. Yeah, the release date is Friday. It's already out as of Tuesday because Markiplier went on his own YouTube channel and said, hey, go to this link. It's already out.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's weird to me.
Here's the thing. None of these streaming services know how to do any of this stuff. They don't pay attention to any. None of this stuff on streaming is. Like every once in a while they flip a coin and it's like, okay, this one we're going to promote like it's supposed to be promoted. Almost none of this stuff is promoted. That's why shit on Netflix gets one season, and because it didn't make Stranger Things money or get Stranger Things numbers, they just cancel.
What's wild, and then on the other side of that, they like Rebel Moon. They had a trailer for that 6 months before that show came out on Netflix.
Well, that's because their heads were so far up Zack Snyder's ass.
So
I don't think it was heads up his ass. I think there was too much of their money in his
Probably.
wallet.
There was a lot of money in that.
Needed
But
to make
they'll
its money
also
back.
spend so much money on other things. And I'm talking about all these streaming services in general, and not promote it at all.
That's fair.
so there's a movie that
But yeah,
came
they
out.
spent so much fucking money on Rebel Moon, both of them.
There's a movie that came out that, to my knowledge, I've seen zero advertisements about it. But from everyone that I know that's seen it, talk nothing but good about the movie. It's The Wild Robots.
Okay, yeah.
I've heard nothing but good about the
I
movie.
think that's DreamWorks, isn't it?
However,
I have legitimately seen one line about it, and it was the greatest DreamWorks animation film of all time.
Yeah.
What?
I've heard really good things
there's-
about it.
I've seen no advertisements for this at all.
Companies are like, shit's gonna get bad eventually because these companies just don't know how to do this stuff anymore, because things have, for the film companies like DreamWorks and all of them, things have changed so much that they can't understand it. They don't know what they're supposed to promote and how they're supposed to promote it. And then these streaming services also don't fucking know because they don't have any idea what's going to take
they don't
off.
know what's going to stick to the wall.
Yeah. They literally, yeah, like you said, they're literally just throwing shit at a wall and hoping that something sticks. And if it doesn't get all the views in the world, then they say, well, this is a failure. Like, you can't have anything like when it comes to like Netflix or anything like that. You can't have any of these like that. You can't stumble in this first season or anything like that. You can't grow your audience in this first season. You have to make all the fucking money from up top, or else and now it's getting to where people are like, well, why should I even watch a Netflix show if I know that if there's a 70% chance that it's going to be canceled.
Yeah,
So,
I watched Jupiter's Legacy, and when the 9th episode came out, because they started doing at the time where the experiment, they would do 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes. And so now half the shows have weekly episodes. I'm trying to watch British Bake Off, and it's like you got to wait a week to watch an episode. I'm like, fuck. But anyway, Jupiter's Legacy, that show was actually pretty decent, and it picked up for me personally. I liked it anyway. But not enough people watched it the first 2 weeks it was out, and they dropped it.
yeah. I mean, I've listened to podcasts where people are like, yeah, I was going to watch The Acolyte, but then I saw that I was just about to start it, and then they said, oh, we've canceled it. And I'm like, well, why should I?
Why start something?
I was going to
that-
watch Archive 81. I started watching that, and then it got canceled 2 episodes in. I'm like, fuck.
It's a problem. And
That is probably the most popular, the most populating thing that I get on my newsfeed on Google is popular blank show canceled after 2 seasons. And
Yeah.
it typically Netflix, but I've seen it for Max. I've seen
Yeah,
it for
it's all of them.
Just all of them. It's
all
just
of
like
them.
it's just okay.
It's a problem, and it's going to be a big problem sooner or later. Like, we're in a bubble, and that bubble is eventually going to burst, and I don't fucking know what's going to happen afterwards.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck.
The only thing I can
Because hey, you can't buy this movie anymore on in physical form because everybody's getting rid of their fucking movie section.
The only thing I can think of that's actually going to give them some idea, especially Netflix, of what to do, and this is going to sound kind of terrible, but I think it's true, and that is the people that have the package with ads. Because if people are willing to watch a show with ads for cheaper, that's gonna generate them more, because they're gonna make more money with the ad subscriptions than they are without them.
So I'm doing Netflix with ads right now.
Okay.
Because Monday Night Raw.
Sure.
Legitimately.
Sure.
The reason why I have Peacock is for the PLEs.
Yeah.
But that's how big of a wrestling
Yeah.
fan I am.
Like when
I want to watch Peaky Blinders. I can't.
Right.
That is cordoned off for the people who have the premium account.
That is true.
Wow.
That part gets under my skin. Now I can
That
also
is crazy.
Formatting wise, I understand that
It's random. Go ahead. Sorry.
Formatting wise, I understand. BBC show doesn't have commercials when it airs on the thing. You can make a reasonable. Okay, this normally doesn't have commercials. We're cutting out. Maybe it's something with the BBC and bringing BBC television over. I don't know.
Right.
There might be a certain premium that they're paying to get that in order. So put it behind the premium wall. I get that. But it is frustrating. And if what you're
that's
saying is that it's
fucked
random what goes behind the premium wall, just outright fuck that.
When I was over Drew's house, that's Phil's brother's house, when he was down earlier this year, they have Netflix with ads or whatever, and we were scrolling through different things, and the most random fucking movies were locked, like some of them were Netflix movies that were locked, and some of them that were Netflix movies were not locked. Like The Ritual was locked. Don't sleep. Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight was not locked. They're both foreign films. They're both Danish films. It's like none of it makes any sense. Some of their TV series are locked, like Jay said, like Peaky Blinders. I don't think that's a Netflix original.
That's not a Netflix.
No,
No, that's BBC.
Yeah.
Right. But there are other BBC programs that are on with ads that are not blocked.
That's crazy because, like, if you're saying that I pay less but I have to watch ads, then
but I don't have access to the full catalog.
You should give me
don't.
access to everything.
You should.
Nobody else does that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain, and I could be
For
putting
now.
I could be
Now.
There are some things on Hulu, if you don't have like the premium account with like no ads, that will say like, oh, you need a Hulu premium account in order to watch this show. You
Hulu,
watch
but
this
the thing
movie.
about the difference with that is that was Hulu's model at first was free. Hulu's model was free with ads at first, and then they put in premium. You can either get premium and have access to more shows. That was their selling point. Netflix is reverse engineering that whole concept.
It's just giving you, I don't know. It's all giving you just like cable, but like worse. Like that's what we're ending up with, and it's.
I want to watch Raw when it gets to Netflix. I want to watch Grave of the Fireflies. I want to watch the McMahon series. If I pay for Netflix with ads and it says, "Oh, these 3 things you need the premium account," I'm like, then why am I paying the $11 a month with ads?
And that's the thing. Like, you can't go and look like, hey, what don't I get with at Netflix with ads?
Because like
you just can't go look at
websites
that.
like Just Watch are going to tell you that it's going to be on the site, even though you might not have access to it.
Yeah,
let me see what Google does
I don't
real
know.
There'll be a Reddit maybe. That's where your lookout maybe to tell you what's going on.
I am very like frustrated and negative about all of this. Like, it's very hard for me to not be. But yeah, because you either pay like a shitload of money or you just like lose out on stuff. And hey, they could just decide, even if you are paying for the full price, that hey, we're just not going to have this on here anymore, and you can't find it anywhere else. Good luck. This is a show that Netflix made. There's no Blu-rays of it. There's no DVDs of it. It can't be on any other thing because it's a Netflix show. So you just can't watch it. because we decided that we don't want it on here right now.
I enjoy watching like comedy specials,
Yeah.
and Netflix. They'll have their own like Netflix special.
Yeah.
Gabriel Iglesias, Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, things like that.
Yeah.
Eventually, those are just gonna go away with no further access to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lovecraft Country's on Tubi. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to watch it
Yeah. Yeah.
because they just pulled it off of Max.
I think Netflix. I think not Netflix. Westworld was on one of the like Freebie maybe.
Yeah, because it should have been. It should be a Max thing. I mean, in that regard, like I said, one of the smartest companies about this has been Sony. Sony got rid of all their goddamn like pay for premium. Like they had Crunchyroll. They sold that off and everything, and now they just rent out their stuff to the ones that are streaming it. I think that's genius.
They have one option for streaming, and if you have the premium account on PSN, they have a rotating list of 100 of their titles that are available monthly. But that's it, though.
But
that's included in another package.
But they're not paying another third party.
No, they're not.
It's in-house.
It's their library.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
catalog.
Yeah. I don't know.
They're not making stuff for that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a I don't know. It's a whole thing. We could be here all
We need.
fucking
Yeah.
night.
This is. We might have to rest on this.
Other than the downside of streaming, I've been playing.
Didn't we do an episode?
We did a whole episode.
Other than the sheer collapse of entertainment as we know it.
Moving on to further entertainment.
We're gonna get it back to busking.
Yeah.
I've been playing more Echoes of Wisdom.
Okay.
I finished the Jabul Waters. I freed Hyrule Castle.
Nice.
And
With beds, I'm assuming.
More beds. I'm about to get to the place where I can.
Ethan got that bed tech.
Yeah.
I'm about to get the clouds, which you can just jump on forever.
Nice.
And so you can. I think the max height in the game. There's a streamer I watched that streamed. The max height he got was like 48 stacks high.
Nice.
And so if you have the cloud echo, you could just jump and you don't need anything underneath it. So you can easily reach that max height.
Yeah. I know people broke the last Zelda game, didn't they? With like just making shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, that just became just a Super Saiyan. It became a Super Saiyan fight fest. It was great.
It became who can make the best Gundam out of stones and trees.
Right.
And actual technology, because that
Yes.
exists in Tears. Oh, and by the way, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have been removed from the Zelda timeline by Nintendo.
Sure.
So they're not part of canon anymore.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I have enough echoes to summon a Lionel now, which is pretty fun.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Besides that, I've just been also playing more Balatro on my phone.
Balatro.
Free time at home, free time at other places.
That game will consume you.
Free time at other places means his job. I'm outing him. I'm right now. He's just like, he's doing his job and playing Balatro at the same time.
I mean, I could type stuff on the computer and like, oh look, I have a flush right there.
There you go.
Yeah, because Balatro's not timed.
Yeah, you could just let it sit. That is one of the cool things about that. You're not time pressured.
Yeah.
I found yet. I bet you there's a deck that's like you must complete the game in 30 seconds. Oh shit!
I'm trying to get the achievement where you finish a run under 12 rounds.
That one I've done that one.
That's what I'm trying to get right now.
You kind of have to hope for RNG for the skip bonuses to work for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You have to skip a lot of the first two out of the three.
You have effectively four skips. You can play four hands and still make it to 12 or under because it's three around 8 Andy, so that's 24. If you do it 4 times, if you play a fifth hand, you cannot make that.
Gotcha.
You're well out of time. I think that's the one for Invisible Joker, which is one of the most powerful jokers in my opinion in the game.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to copy a joker that you have in the field.
That seems really good.
Yeah, it seems super good, especially when you can use that to copy Cavendish and you have ×3 multiplier twice at the end of a run. So when you go in for those E's and infinites, yeah, it's pretty good.
Like right now, I'm just getting like the worst luck when it comes to jokers in like the shops and jokers in the packs and things like that, where it's like not contributing to what I'm trying to do.
So hey, welcome to Balatro Corner. Do you mind if I take over? We can do it that way.
Go for
okay,
it.
so I was going to talk about Balatro,
Sure.
but I'm going to change my whole Balatro talk. Welcome to Balatro Corner with James McCarthy.
Okay.
Early game is econ and plus malts. If you get plus chips, that works as well too. And if you're playing something like the plasma deck, which balances your chips and malt side into the same number, that one's kind of working me right now. I'm trying to still work that out. Basically, the main thing is you can't just focus on malts or chips. You have to have both. That's early game. Late game, you're going to probably start selling off your econ stuff because by that time you should have the money so that the interest from your money should be paying for what you'll be doing. And then you're starting to move towards plus malts, but particularly times malts that are going to multiply the number of malts you get for the round. If you're going into cards, you want to advance your cards. Again, early on, gold is probably the best, but you eventually want to start moving towards the ones that add malt, or that if they stay in your hand, they multiply your malt. For me, if I can get Mime and Baron, and those are two. So Mime says it re-triggers all in-card abilities just again. So if you have a steel card, that's 1.5 times malt, and it triggers again.
Yeah.
Baron says for every king you hold in hand, that's 1.5 times malt. So if you have a steel card in hand, and it is a king, and you have the Baron, and you have the Mime. You get 1.5 from the steel. You get 1.5 from the king, and then because of Mime, it triggers again, so you get 1.5 and 1.5.
Oh wow!
But you have to have had your hands set up over time, so that the number that it's multiplying is big enough to warrant having a 1.5 times malt.
Right.
And then at the top, that's when you want your real multipliers. I will say right now, hologram is probably one of my favorites. As when you get the card, it starts out at 1 times malt. For every card you add to your deck, plus 0.25 malt to them. So if you add 4 cards to your deck, now it's a times 2.
Right.
So you want to look for things that are going to add things to your hand. But if you get hologram early, that will take you past ante 8 and into the endless runs. So
the glitch Joker, where it's like it gives you a random.
Fuck that Joker. Fuck that. I have needed that joke. Okay, it gives you between 0 and 23 malt, and it's a plus malt. It's not a times. I will say this right now. There are runs that I've had that I thought I would carry just so long as that gave me a solid malt number, and it gave me 0, and it killed the run completely.
Yeah.
It's a card game. RNG is going to be, but when your card is also producing RNG at a level that you don't know where that number is going to hit, no. Early run for first antes 1 through 3. I will throw it on there because you don't really need that much plus to get over that. If you get the plus 23 malt, okay, then you just win the hand on the hand that you win that run on the hand that you play. Cool beans. But long term, no. As soon as I have a more solid malt, I really prefer the abstract Joker because the abstract Joker gives you plus 3 malt for every Joker you have. So in a regular circumstance, it's going to give you 15 malt. That's a solid number that I know I always have. It's not going to give me the past 16 and plus that a misprint's going to give me. But yeah, like 15 every time.
What was the name of the card? I won my first run. And so Jay was watching me play the whole time. It gave me some tips while I was playing. What was the name of that card that gave me, I think it was like 0.5 for every time I skipped a pack?
Oh, okay. That is I know which one. That is the red card. It's plus 2 malt every time you skip a pack.
Yeah.
So what you do there, if you can get that in ante 1 or 2, you hold that thing, and that'll even take you into the inlet. That'll take you. Into
I had it up to like 23 or something, or 24.
It was like I think you ended up right at 30 because we finished the ante at 8 and we just didn't go any further than that. But yeah, no. If you can get that 1 or 2, and if God help you, if you can get that thing polychromed to where it's giving you 1 times 5 malt in addition to the malt that's going there, oh my! Again, your whole ante 1 through 8 run is just done. You don't even have to worry about the rest of it.
There's a Joker that I found that he says it adds a times 0.25 malt for every blind you skip, and so.
That is I know because I've used that one before, and again that was another one that started early, and so I have a lot more chances to skip, and so then skipping blinds become really powerful, especially if you can combo stuff with that
because it eventually got
because it gives you bonuses for skipping blinds. Sometimes
it looks like a cyberpunk with like some it looks like a cyberpunk Mardi Gras. I can't remember the name of it.
It got to the point where when I got into the final blind, it was giving me a times 8 malt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that one's powerful too. I prefer hologram because I like I like being able to cut cards with Hangman and stuff like that, and then also adding from standard packs when I can get those. If I can get the driver's license, which is once you have 16 enhanced cards, it gives you ×3 mult. That's another fucking huge.
I don't like the driver's license specifically because at the beginning of one of my runs, there was a tag of skip the blind. The shop will have a free rare that's also polychrome.
Yeah.
And it was driver's license. I'm like, well, I don't have any enhancements. And so I got it.
I got it. And then you look for enhancements everywhere.
Yes. Guess what? Guess how many enhancements I got afterwards in the entire run? 3.
You needed to re-roll more. I'm just saying. Okay. That is Balatro Corner for this week. Join us every week when we will do this and completely bore the shit out of Brady.
I mean, I'm not getting bored to shit when y'all talk Magic anymore, so I guess there's got to be something.
That's true there. There you go.
Even if you don't like poker, this is a phenomenal game.
It's just a fun card game.
Play. Take your word for it.
Hey, Jay, do we have any feedback?
Yes, thank you, whoever that was.
Thanks, NyQuil.
There you go.
Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan. There you go. Yes, we have feedback this week, ladies and gentlemen, from a new.
No, not him.
Not Jesus. Not this time.
I don't have a Jesus voice filter. I need to work on that.
I don't have a Jesus. I want that on a T-shirt.
I don't have a Jesus. There you go. But no, our good friend and a fellow podcaster, I should say, Jarrett Taylor, aka JT of Bearded Drums, has been listening to the podcast, and he has mentioned, and he sent us his feedback. Just watched Pearl because of the podcast. What a flick! So thank you very much for listening to our recommendations, sir. We are, as always, the perfect purveyors of entertainment and what you should be listening and watching.
Fantastic film.
That's a man who enjoys movies.
I would also suggest you, if you haven't watched X, go watch that one. And then Maxine. They're both going to give you different feelings than Pearl.
Right.
Is Maxine so X and Pearl are definitely connected. Is Maxine connected to X and Pearl? Or
Yes.
is it,
Okay. Maxine stars the porn star from X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mia Goth's
and
character.
Mia Goth's character.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's that one's a direct sequel to X, and then Pearl is technically like a prequel for.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that one was like a spiritual kind of sequel kind of deal. But
no, she's the same girl.
And I think that one's got Night Stalker vibes or something.
That one's more of like a
I heard the term neon 80s.
X is more of a 70s Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, and then Maxine is more of a 1980s Brian De Palma. For the mostly it's like almost like a noir thriller-ish type thing. It's not like a straight up horror like the other ones.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's more on the De Palma. If you
More
think
of like the 42nd Street grindhouse kind of.
Yeah, if you think something more like that. But like
Miss
Jay,
45.
like Jay said with the
There's a collection of the 42nd Street the trailers. There's it's like 5.
Yeah.
It's like 5, but I forgot. It's like memories of 42nd Street or
It's
remembering
the first
42nd
one. The
Street.
first one is 42nd Street Forever.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, no, that
it's fantastic.
But yeah, like Jay said with like neon and stuff all over the place. So they're all pretty interesting. They all have to do with like show business and things like that. But yeah, I would definitely say I would say watch the other ones because they're all parts of a whole. But Pearl is like really the standout one of that. That is like the best Mia Goth performance.
And since JT is probably listening to this, I would suggest another trilogy also, like completely not connected really. Hereditary, Midsummer, and The Witch.
Yeah.
Also 3 different movies with 3 different vibes.
but very Scandinavian horror.
Yeah.
Which would like.
I thought you were gonna continue going with Ari Aster films, but
I could, yeah.
But
yeah.
Bo is Afraid is it's a thing. It's a whole thing.
I still haven't seen that one.
It's a trip to say the least.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you write us, we will respond, and hopefully kindly. But thank you very much, JT, for your positive feedback. Glad to hear about it. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to leave feedback as you are passengers of the Omnibus, you can email us at travelersontheomnibus@gmail.com. Again, that is travelers, 1L on the omnibus @gmail.com. Jody, where else can they engage with us?
Spotify.
Absolutely. Take part in our polls and our comment sections for all of our I was about to say videos. They're not videos unless you go like Videodrome on it. That'd be weird. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight, tomorrow, today, whenever you're listening to us. And if you'd like to share this podcast with people who you think would enjoy it, but they don't listen to podcasts on the same channels you listen to, we're available on Amazon. We're available on Spotify. We're available on Apple. We're available on iHeartRadio. And we're available on YouTube through our YouTube channel, Travelers on the Omnibus. Gentlemen, I think we're clear. Anything?
No.
Then let's give this show on the road.
Main event time, ladies and gentlemen.
Thrill me.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our fourth movie in the Omnibus Horror Theater month of October. And this was my selection for this. I chose Night of the Creeps from 1986, produced by TriStar Pictures. Written and directed by Fred Decker. If you know anything about Fred Decker, he, along with Shane Black, co-wrote and he directed The Monster Squad, which would come out a year later in 1987.
Which there's a reference to in this movie.
There you go. He also co-wrote The Predator with Shane Black. You mean from 2018?
Yeah.
He co-wrote that one as well. He is also, as far as his, from what I understand from his credits, he is an uncredited script doctor on the following movies: Demolition Man, Lethal Weapon 4, and Titan AE. If you can follow the through line on that, please go into your padded cell. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But this script was written in a week. Don't know if you could tell that.
Wow. You don't say.
Yes. This movie is a send up of B movie. They wanted to film it as a true B movie. There were a number of creative situations that Decker was not able to get in. Like, he wanted the entire thing to be in black and white, even the parts in the movie that were going to be in modern era for then, 1986. But he could not get that going. You can tell this is, to me, it's also a love letter to the creators of horror fiction. Because you have, first of all, it takes place at Corman University. Shout out to Roger Corman and New World Pictures. Some of your characters: Chris Romero.
Yeah.
JC is actually, when they name him by his full name is James Carpenter Hooper.
Oh, okay.
Which gives you both Halloween and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre all at once. You have Detective Cameron.
Okay.
Yeah. You have Detective Landis. Any fans of the American Werewolf in London? There you go. There. Officers Craven and Bava. Yes, even Mario Bava is fucking referenced in this movie.
Wow.
You have Cynthia Cronenberg.
Yeah.
That one's really obvious.
That's the one that stands out because they call her by name.
Which for Cronenberg, that's the way you want that to be there.
Yeah.
And then finally, even Brady's favorite character, Mr. Miner, the janitor. That is a reference to Steve Miner, who was the director for Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3. So that was another reference there as well.
Getting some deep cuts in there.
So yeah, absolutely. Anything else I want to bring up? Yeah. Okay. When this film was released in Cincinnati, Ohio, it was given a separate title called Homecoming Night. Which is funny because this takes place at college, which you have homecomings in college, but that to me is more of a high school thing.
Yeah.
So there you go there. And I'll mention very briefly, and we'll talk about a little bit about it more later. Dick Miller is in this movie. Dick Miller is in one of the first horror comedies, which came from Roger Corman, called A Bucket of Blood from 1959, which is the year that this story starts out in.
And that movie, Bucket of Blood, the star of that movie plays a cameo in this film.
Yes, Dick Miller.
Yeah,
Dick Miller. That was by Roger Corman, who produced and directed it, and was written by Charles B. Griffith. Corman and Griffith would later go on to do 2 additional horror comedies. This is kind of a loose trilogy of horror comedies. You have The Creature from the Haunted Sea, 1961, but the year before, Little Shop of Horrors in 1960, which Dick Miller was also in there. So just a little setups there. This was meant to be a B movie, kind of referential of all types of horror movies, because you kind of have all types of horror movies. It starts out with one of the best practical sets I've seen in a while. Like there's shadow and it comes up and it's very space industrial.
Like there is no just real quick. There's
no setup.
There's
to
no
this.
fucking way that you see Night of the Creeps. And you see like the any of the promo images of it, and then you read the synopsis of it. Then it opens up like goddamn spaceship. I'll be like, what the with like butt ass naked little aliens running around.
It doesn't even show a ship. It just shows it's coming from black, and there's this like narrow ass passageway
to the inside of a fucking space station.
There's like steam coming from the walls, and then all of a sudden you see this big ass naked baby running.
This naked baby alien running, and you're like, what the fuck is
Mouth
this?
opened, never moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a permanent angry face.
Yeah.
They all do.
Yes.
All of it, because there's two of them, and I'm sure they only had two suits.
Right.
One is the one just running alone, and the other one is someone else in that same suit
Right.
chasing after them with another one.
Yeah.
My note for that from 2 minutes 12 into the great practical set, then sentient rubber.
Yeah.
Like there's no even in the legs. There's no articulation. It's insane.
You're trying to figure out how they're even running in these things.
There's the one they're chasing has this tube. They're like, we got to keep them from getting this experiment off the ship. They fail miserably because he puts it in.
We know it because there are alien subtitles, and then there are English subtitles translating the alien
But
subtitles.
the only thing that's coming from their mouth is a bunch of pig squeals.
Yeah, you can. To be honest, like I said when we were watching this, you needed the alien things because otherwise you wouldn't know that those are supposed to be words that they're saying.
Bipedal pig baby aliens.
Yeah.
And then we immediately knee-jerk jump cut to 1959.
Which we have the cool miniature shot of the thing floating in space,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
we go right to
Hard
1959.
cut to 1959, black and white.
Yes.
Yeah,
Black and white. The late 50s, early 60s, maybe a little small anachronism.
This
there.
is our fourth movie. This is 4 movies.
Yes.
Maybe 2.
No, it's 4. It's 4. Like we've had the alien invasion trope. We've got the 50s sci-fi horror. Like we're gonna get more. So we got a very good thing that they eventually pay off. Again, Chekhov's greater theory is in play throughout all this. Gentleman goes up to his crush's window and starts throwing pebbles at the window, and she's it's like, and so they go off on a nice drive.
This is at a college, and this is a sorority house that he
at
goes
Corman
throwing.
University.
Yeah.
Well, also there's the trope he's pulling up in his Cadillac and like on the radio is like, police are looking for a fugitive.
And he's like, shut
he's
this
like,
shit off. I don't want to hear about that.
Stay indoors or you're gonna die.
And he cuts it off like halfway through it.
We then cut to inside of the sorority house, and there's someone like putting their makeup on. There's someone reading a book, and then there's one person in the corner talking on the phone about how some
on a telephone.
Yes.
That'll actually come up later.
yes,
Yeah.
saying like, one of the sorority girls broke up with her boyfriend. He's now a police officer.
Yeah. That will come up
Exposition.
again
That will
later.
come up.
Yeah, he's never going to go anywhere. And then we have the pebble throwing, and then they're off to Lover's Lane. They're overlooking the thing, making out. It's all a wonderful time. And it's like, which one's the brightest star? And then one gets brighter, and then really fucking bright. And it's a meteor, and it's crashing to Earth.
Well, like before that, the cop shows up and tells him to go
it's
home.
really sad young cop.
He's like, hey, y'all, we have there's a curfew out. You have to.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hi there.
I legitimately believe that actor spent a day with Tom Atkins, which you find out later Tom Atkins is the grown-up version of him, because he tries his best to do a Tom Atkins, literally. It's like, it almost comes off more Buffalo Bill than anything
It's
else
like
to
when
me.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was Bruce Willis in Looper.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. He tells this couple to go, and then he realizes that the girl is his ex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So meteor crosses the sky. He's like, I need to go check this out.
And the meteor is almost a direct shot duplicated from.
That's a cat, ladies and
That's a cat,
gentlemen.
ladies and gentlemen.
From-
Please do not have us arrested for.
Not a cat lady.
Do we need a break
gentlemen.
to let him blow
a
the-
cat.
or is it?
that's my
No.
cat.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No. Our passengers love cats.
But the shot
they
of the
might.
comet is almost directly the same shot of the comet from the Blob.
Oh, okay.
movie
Okay.
from the Steve McQueen movie.
There's so many love letters in this movie. So,
Yeah.
So he goes like any red-blooded American boy in the 1950s.
Let's go check this out.
Let's go find it.
Let's go off in the forest for adventure while we leave our women folk behind.
Yeah.
That's gonna be great.
She definitely doesn't want to do this. But
She's staying in the Cadillac as he's wandering off into the woods with just a flashlight.
yeah.
He's like, "Hey, I'm getting lonely. Let's go back to the point."
Yeah. I'll let you
there's
fondle
that-
my breasts.
No. Well, hold on. She turns the radio back on, and it's the radio
It's the
thing
full
about like,
Yeah, it's telling them like, hey,
34-year-old
there's an
escaped mental patient killed 4 people with an axe.
Yeah.
It's like, and
Like
she's-
last scene on
He's
Route 66.
near Corbin University, and she flips on the lights, and it's a sign that says Route 66, and the sign says Corbin
no,
University.
and west because he's heading
Yeah,
west.
right.
Everything's
West.
perfect on that
Yeah.
thing. And and so she's making all of the pleas in the world. Her line of "I'll let you fondle my breast" reminded me so much of Jason X when he goes into the hologram. It's like, you want to smoke some weed and have
premarital
we love
sex?
premarital
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
I love that line. I think it's great.
The guy comes across the tube.
The guy comes across the tube, and also in media res, the crazy guy comes across the girlfriend,
Right,
and his
with an
axe
axe.
is dripping with blood,
Right.
Yeah.
And so my note for this section was 10:01 to 10:28. If you have 2 horror movies, you have none, which is a reference. If you have 2 quarterbacks on a team, you have none really. But yeah, so it's like, so he goes to the tube, and the tube's broken open, and there's something wiggling in there, and all of a sudden a giant thing jumps out and goes straight into his mouth.
Yes.
Right.
Meanwhile, about a block down, it's just creeping up, and she's literally looking everywhere this guy isn't.
Yes.
Right.
And he just keeps approaching, and
She has a permanent blind spot.
I give all credit in the world for the editor for when they cut that.
Yeah,
Because in my brain, remembering
Right.
this
Yes.
movie, I always think he hits her.
Yeah, he
And
comes back
didn't.
with the axe, and it cuts right to 1985.
Yeah, literally hard cut, super hard cut.
We're in color,
Whiplash.
everyone.
Whiplash.
You know that it's in the 1980s, not just because they flash it on the screen. One of the first words that comes out of anyone's mouth is lame woods. It's like, yes, this is the 1980s. Yes. I want to talk about JC real quick. So we have we have Chris and we have JC, and I won't say stereotypical college nerds. That would be Revenge of the Nerds, and that's a whole other different type of badness. But we're gonna leave that for there. But but they're nerdy guys in college. One of them has just recently broke up with his high school sweetheart. That'd be Chris. JC. I love this character.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I want to give a quick shout out to Steve Marshall. Steve Marshall played JC throughout the entirety of the movie. He knew what the assignment was, and in some cases went above and beyond on the assignment.
You have a guy that is acting with someone that has a disability where he has to use crutches, and he does a really great job at just like positive, kind of.
I think the cat is disagreeing with you. If you can hear that, ladies and gentlemen, I will be editing parts of this out.
You
just to
think?
say,
Yeah.
You think? Yeah. Man, this background noise would have done great for my Fearology episode.
Okay.
I've tried everything. It will not.
have you
stop
tried a
screaming.
shotgun? That'll
No.
finish it real quick.
That's later in the movie.
That's later in the movie.
Specifically,
You mentioned him, playing with a disability. There are moments when he's like when he's walking that one of his feet is always bent to the side, and I thought that's a really cool, just a small detail.
Right,
I think
It's about as good as you could get in the 1980s.
that's fair.
Right, for
It
sure.
really is.
I think I think the physical performance was great. I think his just performance overall.
Oh
was
yeah, for
outstanding.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to cheer his buddy up. They go to before they go to the party.
He sees a girl.
He sees a girl.
He sees a girl. That girl played by I believe Jill Whitlow. This is Ms. Cronenberg, Cynthia or Cindy Cronenberg, as you want to call her in the movie. Hair wise, that is like brunette with like bangs down to the shoulders. That is my perfect woman right there. So they knew how to strike it in my heart. So
very
good.
Saved by the Bell hair.
Yeah.
Very
yeah. Kelly Kapowski,
Kelly,
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, I don't know what to say to her, and JC's just like, hey, toots.
Yeah.
It's like
hey, come over here.
come over, tries to get attention to me. He's like, what are you doing? It's like, I love the dynamic between them. I think that's the most natural Chris's actor is throughout the movies when he's dealing with JC.
Yeah.
I think JC's like the one with the most personality,
with the most range.
Well, that's because he is.
Yeah.
He's
most range among the younger actors.
the main character is
stiff,
kind of wood.
He's a fucking tree.
He always looks like he is holding back a turd. Or he smelled shit. Like, that's his two acting methods right there.
It's a combination of both. He's holding it, but he knows he smells it.
He knows everybody can smell it. So.
We move into the frat house. This is another thing about the 80s. Like, I have not seen this copious amount of beer in movies since the 80s.
Yeah.
And unibrows.
Oh, yes.
The main character does this funny thing where he grabs a cup off of the bar and he starts pouring the bottle of beer that he has into it, and then he stops and puts that one down and picks up another one and pours the rest of it out into the cup, and the second cup.
And that's actually a Chekhov's beer cup for a very minor gag, but we'll get to that in a second. So JC spots Cynthia
Cronenberg.
again. Yeah, she's
talking it up with
unibrow.
with the unibrowist.
Yeah,
that is the most unibrow ever.
Yeah, for real.
And so he goes, "Hey man, you got a phone call." It's like, "Oh, okay, thanks, dude."
The funny thing is the football player with the unibrow, his pickup line for Cronenberg is like, "Yeah, you should come on and watch me play football. You could sit in the stands."
You could sit on the bench and watch me play.
Yeah. She looks really disinterested.
Yeah. Well, we find out she already has a boyfriend. More on that here in a second.
Yeah.
JC, ultimate wingman.
For sure.
Hey, I'm over here. He's like, no, because it's like he wants it. Why doesn't he come up to? I don't know either.
Ask him yourself.
But he's a great guy. Come on over. It's great dude. Finds out.
She looks over at him and he sees that she's looking at him and goes to run, but someone's behind him.
Finds out,
spills all that beer that he poured.
JC finds out that she has a boyfriend. The next scene is them. Oh, real quick, that beer that he is so expertly and craftily poured, he just smashes it into a random dude, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so totally sorry."
Yeah,
just a great little scene. Love that. So they're in another part of the house, and it's like, so did you have a boyfriend? I don't know. She didn't say it. It's like, no, we're not snuffing out the flame tonight. We're doing everything we can. JC, A plus 10 number one dude.
He's like, I don't know what to do. And he goes, you should talk to her.
I know the perfect way. Join the fraternity.
I was thinking more along the lines of talking to her. JC is the smartest person in this movie.
Yes.
JC is the most empathetic person in this movie.
One.
Yes.
He's all rolled into one. I hope he doesn't die.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's like, you should talk to her. Nah, man. I should join a fraternity.
Live a little.
Yeah.
Specifically, this fraternity that we're in right now that we hate.
Yeah.
Yes. So he gets a meeting. They both get a meeting with the
pledge president.
The pledge president of the president of the whole frat.
The Bradster.
Draco Malfoy's father.
Draco Malfoy does not deserve being fucking called being linked to the Bradster. And Bradster needs to be linked more to Garing.
And we know that's his name because that's on his license plate.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good.
I'm pretty sure his first name is and last name Bradster.
I'm pretty sure William Zabka was called and said, "No, I'm doing something else right now."
Like if you didn't know that,
it's like the cat's talking to you, Brady.
Like if
it watched the movie with us, it's probably giving us great insights. Cat people of the passengers, if the cat is actually telling us things, let us know. We'd appreciate that.
Are you done?
How's it going?
Are you done?
Cats do that. My favorite part of the scene was all the 35-year-old frat boys.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody in that scene had a house payment.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
There were some receding hairlines going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is
Up you?
beta kappa date rape drug. Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think I saw a single sexual assault in this movie.
Nobody sexually assaults anyone, which it has now. It has one up on Revenge of the Nerds, which we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
It does have some slight assault, but
Okay. So they want to get in the frat. They're not accepting money. There's like, okay, here's what you do. We want you to steal a dead body from the morgue or from like the science building. We want you to do that
and place it in front at the doorsteps of another fraternity.
Yeah.
one of the female fraternities.
No,
they
fraternity.
specifically say
fraternity.
Fraternity. No,
gotcha.
because it accidentally ends up at a sorority.
Oh, yeah,
which
that's right.
That's no good.
That's true.
because
you
it's. We'll get
So
to
they
that
just
later.
happen to have a cryogenics lab on campus for some reason.
The lab
With a man who we find out is a grad student. This man is 40.
He's a medical grad student. That might be possible.
It's fair.
That might be
Fair.
possible. That medical grad student, like, so every time I've seen
big character actor.
every time I've seen this movie, it's like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
It's like, where is he from? His name is David Paymer. Yes, he is a prolific character actor.
Yeah.
His greatest moment in all of cinema, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Mr. Saturday Night. The reason why he got that role is because he played something in City Slickers. Billy Crystal loved him and said, "Hey, I've got a part for you." And the part was written, which is the brother of Billy Crystal's character, Mr. Saturday Night. That part was written specifically at the behest of Billy Crystal for David Paymer. I found that out, and I thought that's
pretty cool.
awesome.
That's
and
pretty cool.
To come from this to go to that, I think that's tremendous. He can't remember the code to the secret cryogenic build that's held in like the first floor of this office building, and so they sneak in behind him. It's like
He's on the payphone trying to talking to his mother.
payphones everywhere now.
Like,
It's like,
hey,
yes.
I need you to find my notebook.
Not the blue one.
Not the blue
God,
one.
not the blue one. It's 3 digits. I need to know the last.
He's already
digits.
put in like 2 of the digits. So he's
Yeah.
already, and he just can't remember the last one.
And it's been several minutes. This
Yeah.
this keypad remembers for a long time.
Yeah.
And JC's just like, well, let's just hit 0. Boom, it's the number.
The door opens.
Yeah.
Let's go
opens
in.
up,
He
and
goes, "What did you do?" He's like,
like,
"I don't know."
I don't
Yeah.
know. The room is dark and slightly purplish, and then they turn the lights on, and it becomes like a Star Trek the original series episode level.
Yeah, all
of
these
shit.
consoles with lighted up buttons and
Yeah.
like reel to reel machines.
and a
and-
tube with a naked guy.
Well, he's not naked. For some reason they kept the tidy whities.
I was trying to figure that out because like I couldn't tell because it was like did the cryogenics like melt off his
When the
penis or
reveal
something?
happens, they do a zoom out, and I'm like, they're zooming out because they don't want to show his
Yeah.
crotch,
Well,
and then they
it-
showed
when
him.
it-
But when he's in the tube, like it's blurring,
Right.
So he may have been naked there, and then the actor was like, "No, I don't feel comfortable
I'm
with
not
this.
touching a naked dude.
Give me some
Yeah.
tidy whities."
Well,
that
in the
really-
80s, they really didn't like to show dong very much. They had a hang up about that. So,
And it's actually the body of the guy from earlier.
Yes.
the guy from the 50s.
Yes,
The guy from the
the
50s.
boyfriend.
the guy who got the slug to the mouth,
Yeah.
and I don't
Right.
mean a shotgun either.
Yeah.
That's for somebody else in this movie.
So that implies, if you take a second to think about this, they had cryogenics in 1959 in this universe.
Yeah, don't even try and figure out how he got from the last point that you saw him to right now because you're just going to hurt yourself.
They perfectly explain that with a scene that you missed. Shut up. So it's like, hey,
They explain
also-
more about everything else that happened in that 50s scene that they do about that.
Also, I'm a firm believer. JC has been in this room before. He's like, "Hey, I know what this is. Flip some switches. Hey, it's on. Hey, this
Yeah,
button."
JC's
There's
done
a
some
big-
weird.
Wait,
has
hold on.
button.
There's a button that says shut down. He did not have to be in that room before to know that the shutdown.
Decompression.
Yeah.
Fair
and then
enough.
it uses his crutch to push the button.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Just
fair
to
enough.
fucking hammer that up. So the pod opens up, dude flops out literally, and then
They're carrying him.
They're starting to
trying
try
to
to
carry
carry him, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he starts choking Chris. It's like, oh, what the
No,
fuck?
no, he
He grabs
the
his
dead
arm.
body like grabs his wrist.
Was
Yeah,
it his
he
wrist?
grabs-
I
yes.
thought
He grabs-
he chokes David Paymer's character. My bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they run out like scared
like
little
screaming screaming like
screaming
banshees.
banshees.
Were they screaming like banshees?
banshees. God, this is a very 80s movie.
So the grad students like catches them running out of the cryogenic room.
He goes,
he's like,
hey.
hey. He goes in to check on the body. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Then he lays next to the body for some reason.
He kneels down to like check on it, and then you see the zombie like go to
the
grab
choking,
Right.
and then a slug,
and then a slug jumps into his mouth.
Yeah, mouth-to-mouth slug action going on.
and then we get a great character intro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gentleman. He's probably dreaming. Either that, or they filmed that directly on the set of the end of Trading Places.
Yeah,
Where he's got a Mai Tai and a thatch chair, and he's just staring out. And
No, sitting directly in the sand.
He's sitting directly in the sand with like a white tuxedo on.
That's right. That's right. No, I literally Trading Places that in my brain. My bad.
and a beautiful woman just like appears.
It's the girl. It's the girl from
Yes.
the 50s,
Yeah.
and she's just coming out of the water
like
Yeah.
a mermaid, just like
And then
this
you're
is
like,
fucking Splash.
What movie are we in now?
And then it cuts to the vehicle with the psychotic dude with the axe. Just chopping
Back to
We
the
see
50s.
The character is now a cop and
Holding
turns
a
around and
shotgun.
it's a zombie holding the axe.
Yes. And then cut back into
And then he
this
wakes
guy's
up in a
living
wet
room.
back
in
in
a-
the 80s.
In a cold sweat.
Yeah, with the phone ringing, and it is this, by the way, is Tom Atkins. This is probably like the biggest name in the movie that didn't also go on to become an Academy Award nominated actor. So
Yeah.
So far, we've had 4 movies in this one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is in a completely separate movie. He's in a noir movie.
Yeah.
Like
he's in a psychological noir horror.
Yeah.
He answers his phone and says the tagline he'll say 20 more times in the movie, thrill me.
Yeah, I'm sure he's everybody's favorite.
Through
favorite
gritted
detective.
teeth and usually a fucking cigarette.
Yeah, that he only lights and then puts out immediately afterwards.
Yeah, everybody at the precinct loves when he does that. It's just their favorite thing. Nobody hates this thing.
He went through half a pack of cigarettes without smoking hardly any of them.
Yeah, this is true.
Well, there's also the guy that had like 5 sandwiches, but ate the same one.
He
good.
only
I'm glad-
skipped one meal.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned that. So the next that we're now in the cryogenic lab.
Yes.
His friend detective is also there, and we have what I could only say is not the fattest, but definitely the most gluttonous coroner I've ever witnessed
Yeah.
in all of cinema.
He has
Pulls out his kit and there's a sandwich in it.
Yeah, he opens
yeah.
the briefcase and there's a sandwich in it, and then he just starts eating while he's fiddling with the.
I now completely understand how OJ got off. I'm just saying that right
Well,
now.
yeah, none of these cops. The detective guy, he comes in and he's just fucking around with everything. He throws a cigarette down in the fucking crime scene.
The
I'm like,
officers have to be told to go interview witnesses.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
did you ask the janitor what happened? Or like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Let's get on that.
This
this is a
officers.
spoiler, but there's nobody on. Like, they have a fucking flamethrower. Like, these incompetent motherfuckers.
That's why they need the requisition forms.
They don't know
That's
that you're
why the
supposed
requisition forms
that
are
you're
necessary.
supposed to interview witnesses, and yet they have a flamethrower.
A fully prepared flamethrower.
Yep. The
we need
Brad,
to talk about the militarization of our police force.
but not through the lens of Night of the Creeps.
I mean, you might as well. They have a flamethrower.
The Bradster drops Cynthia back off at the sorority house.
Yes.
And again, William Zabka, where are you? Like
Yeah.
this guy fulfilled the role.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think Zabka would have taken it to 11. I'm just saying.
Probably.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Chick's not feeling it. She's kind of fed up with Brad.
He's like, sorry, babe, I got hazing to do later.
Yeah, we gotta.
She's heading up the stairs to her room. Someone stops her and goes, "Hey, Cynthia, is it okay if I store my science project with human brains in it in the cellar?" That's not foreshadowing, because the light on that is so bright no shadow can exist.
She's got like a case of 12 human brains in it.
Yeah.
They're in like mason jars.
So my first thought on that scene is 1, brains.
Yeah.
2, what year is Cynthia? They would not let a freshman's not getting away with this.
Well, they said that she is a
psychology
psych
major.
major.
well, she's a psych major, but she's like the sorority president. They call her Prez.
Can't get that in freshman year. So she's like fooling around with younger boys. I'm just saying that right now. Just saying.
It reminds me of when I took zoology class, and in the lab, the teacher he taught more than just zoology. We taught a whole bunch of stuff, and he like had to the display skeleton, but then he also had a human skull, and he was like, I had some I had some students give me this, and they said you just can't ask where we got it from.
Wow.
I'm going immediately to the police. You don't hand me a fucking body part or organ and say don't ask questions. I'm like, no, many questions, and all of them to the local authorities. What the fuck?
Same question could be asked about where the fuck did those brains come from, and why does this girl have
Can I
them?
store these brains? It's just like, just don't put them up here.
Yeah, don't put them
down
up here.
Put them down in the storage in the basement.
In the
That'd be great.
cellar. In the fruit cellar.
Yeah.
We don't want the brains right next to the hors d'oeuvres or anything like that.
She goes up to her bedroom. We get our first instance of gratuities, and so it's very,
definitely.
very, but tasteful,
Right.
Tasteful gratuity.
The most for the 1980s, this might as well have been like Shakespeare.
She's going to bed. She's putting on a sleeping gown. Okay,
Yeah.
that can happen.
It makes sense.
We hear tinking at the window. I thought, great. That is a fantastic callback. That is
Right.
a really fantastic callback. She goes to the window.
Well.
False. Oh yeah. No, we don't want to forget
also
the cat.
we cut
can't forget the
downstairs,
cat
and
here.
there
We
is
can't
a
forget the cat in there.
girl with the biggest bow that I've ever seen on her dress. She sits down and she starts studying, and then she hears like a knock at. They have like a little. They have some.
One thing we need to establish: the dead body is gone, and we know it's walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There's nothing but glass doors in this.
Yeah,
house.
it's just like it's all glass doors, and she hears and she goes and opens the door immediately, and it's like, bitch, there's glass there. Just look and see
you have
who it
a
is.
curtain. Just peel it back and see what's
Pull
outside.
back the curtain, but then we get our first jump scare, which is it's a cat.
Yeah, it's a black cat jumping into her house.
And then we go back upstairs to Cynthia.
The tinking of the window.
The tinking of the window.
And great. And then like there's one false jump scare, and then we think it's gonna be yet another false jump scare, and then nope, dude, zombie like face pressed against the window.
He's giving her a flower though too.
Yes.
So that's weird. That never really comes up again. That they retain something.
Right.
Well, no, I would say
to that point.
I think that's setting up for what so there's like stuff they could still have like some active thought in their head even though they're dead.
Yeah.
That there might be something there. But the head starts opening up and slugs.
Yeah, he has a head vagina and
everywhere.
slugs start falling out of
Yeah,
it.
it's
Very Cronenbergian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time we see him, the detective's coming to the front steps of the place, and the dude's the gore in this movie when they go all out, they do a fantastic job with that. That body looked fucking gnarly as fuck.
Yeah, and I like the detail when the detective talks to the other detective and he goes, "Does that look like an axe hit him in the head?"
Well, yeah, he goes. The detective guy, the asshole, he goes behind the sorority and looks at the house mother's cottage, and then he starts looking wistfully at it, and his partner comes over and he goes, "Did that look like it was done with an axe?"
It's like, oh, you got to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, he was like,
You get horny for this shit. What the fuck?
have a problem, sir."
I can just imagine like all the calls that he's gone to previously. He's like, was it an axe murder?
Yeah.
Like, no. A heart attack. What do you mean?
This is a domestic abuse thing, sir. Like,
Yes, absolutely.
They don't even own an axe.
yeah. It's 1986. Nobody has an axe. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, we changed them out for I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway, so next scene is again one of the most 80s fucking scenes you're gonna have. It's bullying on a campus.
Yeah, they run into like a group of guys and they turn around and there's another
the
group of guys.
betas.
They're wedged in between two groups of betas.
Yeah.
The Bradsters.
Do you think they're the betas because all of the actors were taking beta blockers by that point? I'm just these are obviously older men.
Yeah.
Older in like their 30s. My apologies. I'm it's like, hey, let's
Brad might
alpha.
be late 20s, but most of them are like 35.
Well, they're
Yeah.
definitely not alphas. That's why they're betas.
Oh.
So like
The Bradster is going like, hey man, that's not cool. You really scared all of those girls.
yeah.
that's exactly how he
That
delivered
is-
the
that
line
is
too.
It's like he
Yeah.
was here with us.
It's like I watched the movie with y'all.
Your new nickname's the Bradster.
Ew. Don't put that evil on him.
I don't like that.
Brady's coming to your defense.
I did not see that coming.
No. And then, like, JC's like, first off, you're wrong. Second off, we chickened out. We didn't even do the dumb prank that was your idea.
Yeah. 3, why don't you go practice goose stepping? And then
4, Cronenberg's behind and hears everything that's being said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the Brad admits, like, yeah, we told you to do that, but you weren't supposed to go that
And then
far.
Brad trips the guy with the crutches.
He trips the disabled
so if
guy.
you needed to establish him as a villain,
yeah.
we done did it.
Yeah.
Very restrained for the 80s. They could have called him a disabled slur. Like that.
They could have.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm surprised as everybody else.
This movie
Just a simple trip
This
of the
movie is
crutch.
very progressive.
Yeah,
in
this
that
movie
regard.
is it's practically just super progressive in comparison.
So Chris runs over to help JT.
Yeah. And then
Cynthia's with Brad, and Brad's like, "Hey, come on, let's go." And she does like the wind up middle finger to Brad.
She did the wind up middle
and
finger.
then everybody clapped. Like they literally
slow
did it.
clap.
respectful golf clap.
Golf
Yeah.
clapping.
You
Yeah.
had half giving the golf claps, and one guy giving Brad his sunglasses.
Like
He's his
what
sunglasses.
this shows is that everybody knows that Brad's an asshole.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Brad because they all did that. And she runs over and like starts hanging out with
She's
with
now
our main
associated
characters.
with JC.
And again,
Yeah.
JC, fucking ultimate win. By the way, this is Chris. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
for a
this is
second
Cynthia.
there,
This is
for
Cynthia.
a
yeah.
second there, I was like, is it just gonna be this guy and not the other main guy who actually
Right.
liked her? But no,
Boy,
no.
were you wrong.
This
Not
script
at
was
all.
written in a week.
Yeah.
That is my answer to that.
The budget was $150,000.
She feels comfortable enough to start disclosing that she saw a zombie with things falling out of its head.
She like becomes very close to them very quickly.
to be well, she has a rough couple of days.
Yeah,
there.
this is true.
I would be
That's
looking
true.
for like human interaction that would at least be accepting of that as well. I get
Yeah.
that.
I don't think she wants to hang out with the Bradster and Mr. Unibrow.
Yeah,
Not
Wingman,
right now,
Wingman
anyway.
then fucks off because he gets the hint. He's like, "Oh, okay, I see how this is going. I'm
Yep.
just gonna."
And so JC's like, I've got to go somewhere. I'll see you guys later.
We're speeding way too.
Yeah,
far.
you're
Way
way
too
too
far.
far.
Okay,
Okay,
so-
shit. Yeah,
One of my favorite line deliveries in the movie. It goes, Chris Romero, John Carpenter Hooper, Landis.
Right.
Massive amounts of horror directors just mentioned there,
yeah.
and it is the buddy, the friend detective from the Force Works homicide.
Yeah.
He's bringing them in to be questioned.
That's
because
right.
We've got some murdering going
That's
on.
right. That's
yeah,
right.
and in this interrogation room, there's only bad cop.
Brady should be the one to describe this one.
I don't wanna. Yeah, the main detective guy, he's giving them the runaround. He's like, "Yeah, we know you stole that body and everything, and then you chopped it up with an axe. What?" Like, and they're like, "No, we didn't do that. We just opened the thing up." And then very against procedure. Like you can't just have like a witness to the thing right there with them. Like that's not how that
He's
works.
within weapons length of if they had a knife,
Like they're
they could have
literally
stabbed
like the
him.
detective is on one side, they're on the other side. The witness is on the end there.
The witness, Mr.
And-
Miner, named after Steve Miner, another horror director.
Yeah. He's an Asian guy in an 80s movie. That's all that really needs to be said. He's an Asian guy.
What were they describing?
Where
when
was
they were
Getty Watanabe?
exiting?
For the-
It was only a step above that because he's not in that much of the movie.
That's fair. That's fair.
It was whew, man.
I think that was his only line.
That
in the
was his
entire
That's his
movie.
only line.
Yeah.
And he's
The
only,
only-
he only said it three times.
Is to chuckle
He said it 3 times.
and repeat what another person. It's not even his own line. He's
Yeah.
repeating something. So, but again, it was to chuckle and say, "Screaming like banshees." Notice I said that in a full Anglican fucking accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You got to.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure if an Asian person did the voice that this guy did, that would be racist. That's how bad
Right,
it was.
it was pretty
oh my
bad.
god.
It's hard to tell because this is the 80s, but like he might have learned this one line phonetically. I don't know.
No, I can't. No, now I have. Oh no, I don't want to even look that up. I feel like
No.
I'll go on a list.
No,
No, I
don't.
don't want to do that. Oh,
Yeah, you don't want to be on that list.
So anyway, they convinced the detective that
They didn't do it.
Much like the witness said, they ran out of the building without a body.
Yeah, they didn't have a body. They just opened up the thing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I still like trespassing and shit, but he's like, I don't give a shit about that. I want to find out how this guy got an axe murdered.
We then cut to they're leaving the station, and we cut to the morgue's office. The man is eating the same fucking sandwich.
Yeah, he's got another sandwich. He's got it's the same sandwich.
The grad student is dead on the examination table.
Yes.
And like the Undertaker just shoots straight up.
I think that's where the Undertaker might have... No, that he got it from Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he just
So
shoots.
I think David Paymer also got that from Michael Myers.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So walks out of the morgue.
walks past the cop and the cop says, "Have a good day."
Yeah,
No,
he's
he's
like
no,
looking
I'll
at...
see you tomorrow. It's
Yeah,
like,
he's like, he's looking through paperwork while he's walking.
let me say this right now. I've pulled a hard 8-hour day. I've pulled some double shifts before, and when I'm just walking out and like people are passing by me in the hallway, I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow. It's like, you could have had a goddamn super monster walking past me. I wouldn't have noticed it.
Yeah.
So I don't fault it for that.
Right.
I love the makeup work because he's got like the forceps like stuck into his skin and all the stuff there. Mr. Miner is doing his janitorial duties and saying the only words in English he pretty much knows.
Yeah.
And then he encounters the dead body and lets out just a torrential scream. And then as we watched this on Tubi, it went straight to ads.
Yeah. He screams and it cuts out right. It feels like right after he screams, it cuts out to an ad.
Yes.
And it cuts back to him screaming.
It rolled it back a second and was screaming again. And we were absolutely floored.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
it was very funny.
Tubi, thank you. I was worried the ads were going to take away from the experience.
It
No,
added
they
to it.
accentuated it. It was
Yeah.
very good. So there's a payphone in the sorority that you can call direct. And
Yeah.
Which is interesting considering that they have actual house phones.
it's
Yeah.
okay. They had those in the 50s.
They had
By
the
the 80s
room phones.
Capitalism, sir. This
Yeah.
is Reagan's era.
Yes. We're literally...
We can't give these kids free phones.
Yes.
How will they pull themselves up by their bootstraps?
Voodoo economics, my ass. Anyway, so Study Girl picks up the phone and it's Brad, and Brad's like mixing some drinks and he turns around and he just has full on fucking Nazi fucking tank top on.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're going to be racist in the 80s, tank top is the way to
He's
go.
making himself a martini while he's talking to her.
Which is probably made out of Löwenbräu and...
To be fair, Brad does have blonde hair and more than likely has blue eyes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have blonde hair. There's not enough capital letters in where you said it. He has blonde hair.
Yeah.
It is brighter
Ric
than
Flair
the
is
sun.
like, sees this and is like, man, that's what I aspire to. I wish I could get my hair that blonde.
Yeah, it is. It's yellow, actually.
Yeah.
And a
It's
whole
yellow
can
as
of
well.
Aquanet.
Yeah. And so hey, what's going on? It's like, no, I'm not really into this, Brad. It's like, yeah, I should have known not to date a psych major. And she just hangs, which is exactly what you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
You do no.
Yeah.
But yeah, my note 4357. Oh my God, he is a Nazi. Like, once again, you can't have foreshadowing when the lights are too bright.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just the way it is.
It's at this point in the movie also for me where I self-reflect and I think for a moment, wow, this movie's done everything and nothing at the same time so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that are going on.
We have pushed
and
past,
the
but
amount
like
of-
things have gone so like
This
they.
is like the Seinfeld of horror comedies.
Yeah.
I think at this point it is now like the halfway mark.
Like,
Yeah.
we're
Yep.
properly in the halfway mark. The study girl is back in the study, studying in the study. I think
Yes.
those are very appropriate.
Yes.
And the door scratching again. Oh, it could. But with the so
is it going to be it this time?
there's a bit of foreshadowing to this because one of there's two girls talking. It's like, oh, I hope they don't. If they told her about I want to say it's not Jonesy. That's
Right.
Alien. That's an actual one note horror movie.
Right.
It might be one note. I don't mean like it has one plot that goes from the beginning to the end. This thing has 7 different plots that all
Yeah.
congeal at one moment.
Right.
So it's like, oh, hey, it's the cat. And she picks up the cat and to this day, so just very quickly, I first saw this movie in 1993, USA's Up All Night. It was Gilbert Gottfried. which if you're not gonna have the Tubi experience where they cut the commercials perfectly, the other one is whenever you go to commercial, have Gilbert Godfrey send you out because it's great. Because one of the things I remember saying, it's like, it's Saturday and I'm Gilbert Godfrey. Normally this would be a Rhonda night, but they especially wanted me to do this movie. What's it called? Night of the Creeps. Son of a bitch. But that was the first time I ever saw this movie. And so it's kind of like, so they cut the scene, the scene for the television edit cut right at this point because she picks up the cat and it's just the regular cat because it's the regular cat actor. But then when they do the close up on the cat, it is fucking gnarly as fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
That cat has stayed with me 21 years.
Damn.
That's how fucking powerful.
The cat looks
31 years.
The cat also almost looks like the cat from Reanimator.
Yeah.
Sir,
that might have been the cat
might
from
have been
Reanimator.
the cat
Who
from
knows?
Reanimator.
Like some, you got to save on budget sometimes.
Right.
And so, there we cut to our boys. They're studying in their dorm room, like good college students, very good. There's a knock on the door. It's Cynthia. Oh my God. And she explains to them that I found you in the college directory. I hope you don't mind. And Chris is like, that was his best acting in the whole movie. Like that felt natural and perfect for that character.
Yeah.
Loved it. And then JC's got to come in and be his fucking mouthpiece again, be able to talk for him.
Right. They go out on a walk, right? And then that's when she starts telling them, like, hey, I saw a zombie. And they're like, oh, okay.
The line that always gets me. So, like, she explains everything and, like, oh, we buried the cat. And, like, and she finds, like, she's distraught and all that. And Chris's line is, maybe the girl was on drugs. And the way he delivers that line and how it's so abrupt after she's explained this thing to them, it is fucking amazing.
Well, and the line after that is, you know how studying hard can get to you. So it's like, was it drugs or is it studying hard? Like, what the fuck?
You ever studied too hard, you just turn into a fucking zombie?
Yeah. Quite literally, yeah.
And then JC makes some sort of like jokey comment about something about the cat. I can't remember.
Well, Night of the Living Dead cats and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, they start joking. He starts joking, like not taking it seriously.
But you see, JC, he knows what he's doing. JC, ultimate wingman mode. I've got to be the asshole now.
Right.
So that my buddy, and it works.
Yeah,
like
it
she's
does
like,
work.
like the arm around her. Like she's the one thing that was like, wait a minute, like this girl's going through a trauma, and they're like, yeah, she's actually in your arms. And like, no, but it's like JC knows again, perfect wingman, knows when to fuck off.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna go this way.
Yeah.
Also, the main character's jacket is like defying physics.
Is cargo pants
It's
actually
defying physics. I don't know how the fuck it works.
There's pockets there that make no fucking sense.
It's really big, but also not.
Yeah.
It's form fitting, but also baggy.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense.
Figure that shit out. JC, he this is where he goes to the bathroom. Right?
JC's heading up and has to stop off at the bathroom.
And he goes to the bathroom, and then we see
he's writing something on the wall of the stall.
He's not yet.
It's before that.
She tells him more, and like they're opening up. They're starting to make a connection. It's like, I need to walk you back to your place. And so he walks her back to her place.
Yeah, because she goes into detail what she saw, and he goes, okay.
She even asks him, like, if I tell you something, will you believe it? It's like, yeah, sure. And then that. It's like, okay.
I think I need to take you back to the.
I think so part of it is disbelief. Part of it is, I think, wanting to believe her because girl. And then also part of it's like, I've seen some freaky shit lately.
Right.
Okay, this makes sense.
Right.
We now cut to I like this scene from a setup. As a fan of the character, I hate this scene.
Right.
Yeah.
JC's pooping.
Yep.
So it's very important. And he's in there, and like you see coming down the hallway is the janitor. And I loved the zombie makeup. It was very minimal. Like they're harboring in the brain, so the rest of the body looks okay unless something fucked up happened with the body. But the face is just gaunt and it's gray. The eyes are white. I think it's perfect. It's
really good.
Zombie comes in the room. He doesn't see this. He just hears the door open, and then all of a sudden he hears thump, and then sploosh, and then and slugs.
Yeah.
And he hears this. He doesn't see this yet. And for some reason, there's a book of matches outside that. Maybe those were his matches. Maybe he dropped them on the way in. I know sometimes when I've had to poop, I've dropped some things. It makes sense sometimes. So he goes to try to pick up the matches. Slug immediately like runs across his hand. It's like, oh shit. Like, so goes down and get the matches again. Lights one of the matches, lights the book, kind of puts it out there. As soon as this slug hits it, bursts right into flames. These things are more flammable than anything.
Yep.
And like, I love the effect on this one too, because it was like this burning, melting corpse, and then there's just this goo,
Foamy goo.
foamy goo. It's just like, again, like details wise, fucking loved it. Oh my god. And so it's like, oh my god. And then a slug goes right up his pant leg, and then he freaks the fuck out, because if that didn't happen, the way he exits the stall makes no sense. He panics and like jumps forward, and of course
falls forward.
and he can't walk, so he's crawling to get out, and like one of the slugs just, and it's right on track for him, and they cut.
And they cut.
And they cut back to the sorority house, and you're like that. They're finishing up their talk, and
Chris is like talking to her or whatever. She's like, so the formal's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want you to take me.
Will you take me? He's like, yeah. And then she like goes inside, she gives him the look.
Yeah.
And then he
He's
goes
like, but wait, I thought you were dating Brad. She goes, pick me up at 7.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And he does like the whole like, yes, when she shuts the door.
Yeah, no, that's wholesome 80s.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
there.
So
That's fine.
He's like high fiving himself. He's doing the jumping, pumping
Right.
the air,
So,
and then cuts.
Yeah, cut. But real quick, two things that I want to get out. One, we do have the most frightening thing in the movie happens also in the bathroom scene, independent of it. Striper rules.
Yeah.
That is just absolutely terrifying. No, I don't like that. And then also, finally, this bit I'm glad we didn't mention to it. One of the lines during the police interrogation scene that JC says is like, "I would rather have my brains invaded by creatures from space."
Yeah.
Once again, you can't have foreshadowing in the lights that bright.
Yeah.
Brady, I think you were going to say something.
No.
Okay, no.
The sheriff stops him.
As soon as he walks away from the sorority house,
Captain Buzzkill
is there.
Like, we're gonna have a chat.
Yeah.
It's like axe murders,
And
zombies, and the spring formal.
And he brings him to his home.
Yeah, brings him to his little shitty
Pours
apartment.
him a glass of whiskey,
Pours him a glass of whiskey, and
then
again,
tells his backstory.
This is a man that's in a different fucking movie.
Yeah.
Tells him his tragic backstory.
He opens up with, "Tell me, Spanky, have you ever had a high school sweetheart?"
Real quick, because that's a reference to the Little Rascals, I believe.
Yeah, Spanky and Alfalfa.
Spanky and Alfalfa. Alfalfa is JC, and he calls him Spanky, and so and so like he goes to and it's so noir, and but my favorite part is it's like, you know what? Do you know what else? Next thing I did, Spanky. It's like, sir, should you be telling me this?
Yeah.
His response is close. Like,
He's literally not in the same mood. Like, he's not even listening to him. He's answering questions. He's going off of things that somebody else said that's in a different movie.
There's someone offset that's holding up question cards.
This scene is so fucking wild, because he goes, "So what happened with you and your high school sweetheart, Spanky?" He goes, "Well, it just didn't work out, and we never talked to each other again." "Oh, that's funny, Spanky."
Yeah,
mine got hacked up by an axe murderer.
Life went on for her.
Life went on. I found her in the car. I found her in the road. I found her in the woods.
I leveled my shotgun up next to his chest, because like
basically
I do love the line, "You went alone?" "No, had my 12 gauge with me."
He's the cop he's the young doofy cop from earlier. He sees his high school sweetheart hacked to bits. The guy gets away. He goes and tracks him down later.
Off duty.
Yeah. What he did, it wasn't sure as fuck wasn't on duty. I was going to make a joke there that I'm not going to make.
Woo!
And then he basically admits to
Censored.
Cut that. Yeah, he hunts the guy down and blows him away, and then buries him behind the sorority house for some reason.
I guess because it was just an open lot. Because
It was an open lot.
They put the mother's cottage there.
It used to be an open lot, but now the cottage is there.
Cut to the mother's cottage.
Yeah.
And she's watching Plan 9 from Outer Space. This is the best use of Plan 9 from Outer Space ever.
Yeah.
Suck it, Ed Wood. Both the person and the movie.
So she's sitting on her couch watching it. The dog is like laying at her feet, and the dog hears something like tapping. Doesn't really know where, but like the tapping.
No, she does too.
She was nodding off, and
and then it starts and it's like, wait, that's
starts getting louder
that's the
and
wood.
heavier.
That's the wood, and I'm like, my reaction, 57-52. He buried him with the axe.
yeah.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
And
Yeah.
also, this is a point in the movie where if this doesn't happen, where this zombie breaks through, and this whole like backstory is explained, where this zombie's under this house, this whole thing is their fault.
Yeah.
If this didn't happen, like it's partially their fault.
Yeah.
but it would be wholly their fault
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
letting the
No,
zombie.
it's still wholly their fault because
Yeah.
they let the thing out, and now
Right.
it just goes in dead bodies too now.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
right,
one,
right.
No, we're not. We like Chris.
Yeah.
We love JC.
Yeah.
But we're not forgiving them for the Corman University massacre.
Like Chris, that's
That's
strong.
a reference to the Miskatonic massacre.
Yes,
guys.
I
strong.
understand that. Yes,
6 months ago.
6 months ago.
10 months ago.
More like 6 hours ago in
Yeah.
this movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the zombie axe murderer gets out and hacks her to bits, and then
And as a kind of a I can't even think of the word. Kind of a difference between the original axe murder where it's swing, cut before anything strikes.
They
Here,
show it.
It's you see it hit
Yeah.
her and blood splatter
Right.
everywhere. Again, to me, that's kind of an homage between the eras of the 50s and the 80s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then we go back to the detective and
He gets
and
a phone
Chris.
call.
He gets a phone call. It's like, we got to go, and he gets his.
He goes underneath the couch.
He goes
and pulls
underneath
out
like his
12 gauge.
couch bed and gets a shotgun and
He's
shells.
having memories. He's having fucking memories.
For a moment there, I'm like, I don't think he's going to take Chris with him, is he? And he didn't.
And he
Chris,
didn't. No.
Chris walks.
But he does drunk drive, and I want to
Yes.
point out that is no good.
Yeah.
You
I
don't do
love
that.
I love.
Of all the things that this detective has done, I think that's the least of his worries.
Yeah.
He's driving to whatever the scene is, and he's like, "Where's my backup?" And like they immediately show up behind him.
Yeah, for no good goddamn
Yeah.
reason.
He's like,
It's
"Never mind."
No, not never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
The
He has a weird thing about timing things. I wonder if that'll come up
Yeah.
later in the movie.
he he
get
gets
to the
there, he
cottage.
jumps the curb, and then the fucking coroner is there
With a sandwich.
with a fucking sandwich.
He's like, yeah, we have to have multiple stretchers for each.
Well, he said
part.
if I took each part, I'd need multiple stretchers.
And then chuckled to himself as
Yeah.
he walks off
Man,
camera.
that
Like,
was-
I get gallows humor, but
Right.
now you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, you just are. Fuck.
Before this, the detective, one of his backup, he sent like, go search, and
search the neighborhood.
Real quick line. What one of the people said, it's like as soon as we opened the door, the dog ran out. Keep that in mind.
yeah,
Yes.
Right.
So now
Then the police are searching, and they're searching, and they're like, man, this is bullshit. And then the guy who's driving sees the fucking zombie,
Yeah,
and the other guy's turned
no,
around. He's
it's-
like, why are you stopped?
It's like he's using the spotlight. He's like, no, keep going. He's around here somewhere. A few minutes go by. I got nothing.
They're like,
Pulls the
fuck it.
spotlight
That was great because he's pulling it inside right as the guy is
Yeah.
is
As they're
behind
passing.
frame,
Yeah.
and the
Right.
driver sees it. It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck did you stop for? And then almost axe murdered a cop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost
and
axe
then
murder
just
cop.
skirts off.
So they corner the zombie, right? Yeah, they
Yes.
corner the zombie.
And they even established that with the no through thing.
Yeah.
Like,
No
genius.
through side, and like they imply that our 60-year-old detective jumps over the fence.
yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah, it was one of those taking 3 like 18 cuts thing.
Right.
Like, don't worry about it. He definitely did that.
so-
Heavy smoker too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
However,
Also,
Alcoholic.
alcoholic.
Tom Atkins in both. Carpenter liked Atkins because he was in
Right.
Halloween 3.
Yeah.
And he was also in The Fog.
Right.
And he's always got ladies. And it's just weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
Well, you saw how he was at the beach and
yeah,
Colonel
very,
Sanders.
yeah, very, very, very Tom Atkins.
They catch the quote unquote axe murderer.
Yeah.
Because his back is turned to everybody. He's like, "Turn around, scumbag! We got you!" And it's
Yeah.
like, we know it's a fucking zombie.
Yeah.
They blow him away. They blow literal holes where light is coming through on them, and everybody's just like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
And so
Yeah, I got a fucking flashback from Life Force.
The detective also
No, let me thank Jody. Thank you. I have been for the longest time. What other movie does this fucking corpse look like? It's fucking Life Force. Okay,
Yeah, with the light shooting
my
out of it,
apologies.
yeah.
Go on.
Also, the detective confesses to murder right here because he says, "I killed you before.
I'll do
Right.
it again.
I'll
Yeah.
do it again."
Yeah.
Somebody should have been like, "Hey, was that a
Wait a
confession?"
minute. Yeah.
But yeah, so
the
then he
detective-
blows his head off,
Blows hit the fuck away.
and then all
slugs
the
go
slugs
everywhere.
go everywhere.
Yeah.
And the cops noticed them.
Yeah.
Like they actually like turned and like, whoa, what's that?
Yeah, they're like, "What the fuck?"
There was
Oh
one,
well.
There was one that looks like he just seen the most grotesque.
Yeah, there
thing.
was one-
It's just
I
deadpan.
love the reactions.
Yeah.
like the reactions for it's like this is obviously like so fantastical.
Right.
If I saw something like that, yeah, I would be just fucked. Oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah. Then it's next day, right? Yeah.
Next.
I think it's next. I think it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is next day.
Yeah.
Next day, and
Yeah, because Chris is getting
Chris got his
tux for the formal.
and he's getting ready, and everything's gonna be cool. And he notices a tape player, and
a
says,
mini tape player.
It says, "Listen."
not yet.
And
Not yet.
did we have the do we have the cuts to the fraternity and sorority house at this point?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Second instance of gratuities in this one as well.
yeah,
Everyone's getting
girls
ready
getting
for the
ready for the formal.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the fraternity. Everyone's throwing beer at each other while also getting
Yeah,
ready.
it's just very homoerotic, and that will continue.
Yeah, we do cuts from that, and it cuts back to Chris. He's getting ready, and then he finds the tape player.
yeah.
He looks in through the reflection of the mirror. He sees the tape player that says, "Listen to
This
me."
this part had no right to be in this movie,
Right.
Because it's needed to keep moving things on.
Establish what's going on.
Somebody has to tell them how to what's going on and what they need to do about it.
The tape player is the exposition.
But man, this actor does not have the range to pull this scene off. Ooh,
Right.
man.
Wait, which actor? The one on tape or the one listening?
The one
on tape is
Okay.
doing good.
Okay, no, because I was about to say
Yeah.
one more. I'm going to credit Steve Marshall. This guy knocked that tape
Yeah.
out of
oh
the
yeah,
park.
for sure.
This should have been in like a more serious horror movie for
Right.
me, because oh my fucking
yeah,
god.
the guy who's playing Chris, by the way, I don't remember the actor's name, but
Lively, hang on.
Yeah.
Jason Lively.
was in
No relation to Blake.
was in European Vacation and showed about the same acting range.
Yeah.
He's listening to his friend basically like tell him what's going on and that
I've
he's
been infected.
That he's been infected, and
They go in through the mouth.
his facial reaction is the same facial reaction you would give to somebody who called you to let you know that the grocery store was out of eggs.
Yeah.
Oh
Pretty
man,
much.
I guess we're gonna have to get something else.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're gonna it just. But yeah, like I want to hallmark that because
Yeah.
He went above and beyond.
Oh, yeah.
The entirety of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And JC says like, I know how to kill them. They don't like fire.
They do not like fire.
And they don't like heat. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going down to the boiler room.
Right.
Thank you
Man.
for being my friend.
I can
basically.
I walked on my own.
Yeah.
I can feel them in
Yes.
my brain.
Right.
Jesus.
Now, I love you. Have fun with Cynthia. Like, oh
Yeah.
my god, damn it!
Yeah.
Like,
He really nailed it.
this is a horror comedy.
The-
what is this? Why was this here?
The main character has done absolutely nothing
Nothing.
to deserve this guy.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
Like,
or the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then snapshot to him running the hallways to go to the boiler room.
Yeah, he gets down to the boiler room, which we know because somebody wrote on in Sharpie on the door boiler room, and then had an arrow pointing.
Yeah,
in
we
that
couldn't have told
direction.
from the boiler.
Yeah,
Right.
He goes in there. He's
That was another great effect shot. Just man, it's gross and it's like the whole place is grimy.
He's
Yeah.
laying face down.
They killed JC off screen.
They
That's
did.
great.
face down, and then there's a pile of melted slugs right
Yeah,
next to him.
Right.
Yeah,
Then
wonderful.
Chris goes back to the detective, and actually,
Hang on. So Brad, because we want to remember that he's drunk and like the guys are like, yeah, he's skipping it tonight because Cynthia told him fuck off. That's every actor,
That is
Right.
literally
And
exactly how it
so
goes.
he finishes a beer, throws it into like he notices a slug, and then the dog comes up. And it's the dog from the mother's house,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, it's like, hey dog, do you see that? And looks over, and it's this fucking zombie dog shoots a slug. It goes straight in his mouth.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this movie yet, why are you should have just stopped, watch it, and
Right.
come back and review with us.
Right.
However, if you go to IMDb, they have done a screenshot of the slug going in his mouth, and I think that was on purpose. I'm just gonna say that right there.
They reversed shot all of those slugs going in their mouths.
Yeah, because they were too. It was
Perfect.
too good. It was
Yeah,
too good
yeah.
every time.
and so
But yeah. But
We cut to the detective's house.
Yeah.
And he's like on the couch and he's like about to flick a lighter open. You
He's
hear this
drinking.
He's drinking and you hear a hissing sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone just keeps pounding on the door. It's like, okay, fine. And you go over the door and the door's taped up.
yeah.
What the fuck? So he removes the tape, opens the door, and
Spanky.
no, he goes, Alfalfa's dead.
With no expression.
With no
Oh,
expression.
man.
And
Yeah.
he's explaining
So
everything.
bad.
And at this point, you really wish. Jason Lively, I hope you're a fantastic human being. This was not
Probably
good.
a piece of shit.
Now,
No.
I
Let's
know.
hope. Let's
I
hope.
know
God
that
damn
like
it.
when they go into it or whatever, and he's like fine. The detective's like fine, and goes in and turns off the oven.
Yeah.
The oven
Yeah.
opens.
Gas
open oven.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
open gas oven.
Yeah,
Now-
because he was about to blow
Because
himself
he was
up.
about to blow
The
himself
visual,
up.
the visual of that. Okay, that's why he had the door taped up, not to be worried about the slugs or anything like that. Also, though, visually it was cool, but in the logic of the movie, why did Chris not smell the gas when he walked through the front door?
Also, he was smoking with the gas on. Like he would have already been.
Those
blown
were
up.
those were non-fire cigarettes.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Those existed. I'm pretty sure. Those were e-cigs. He had
so-
the first prototype
But
e-cig.
they skedaddle, and one of the there's many funny lines, but Brad shows up to the front of the sorority house.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's
not yet.
No. He shows up to the sorority house.
Oh,
She-
yeah.
It's like, will someone answer this door? That part was like, just
Right,
someone
right.
open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open the door, and he's like, oh, you. Hey, Cynthia, Brad's here. Cut to the requisition and storage for the police department.
Yeah.
Well, they show Brad's face, and he's a zombie.
He's
Yeah,
a zombie,
he's a
but,
zombie
she,
now.
but they cut
Yeah.
to the police station.
yeah, and also she doesn't know what a zombie is because
Yeah,
she's a
right.
sorority girl. That's how it happens.
And they get a flamethrower. Why?
No, wait a minute.
Why does
Hold
this?
on. You are skipping so much. They
Why?
go down.
Why does this?
It's well, first of all, it's Dick
suburban-
Miller. It's Dick Miller, and is like they're having some banter. Except Chris is just like,
Yeah.
it's like it's like, oh, why are you wearing that fancy suit?
He's trying to do a tough face. It just looks like all his other faces.
I don't think he's trying to do a tough face. I think he's catatonic. Be catatonic because your best
The
friend.
detective's like, yeah, we need a flamethrower. And he's like, well, I got one of those, but
Your
do you
best
got
friend, because your best friend, who's the only reason you're going to get laid tonight, is dead from
Yeah.
brain slugs.
Yeah.
and now you got to like get on with this like detective who's clearly fucked.
You got your paperwork for that flamethrower? No, I don't got that
The
paperwork.
flamethrower's right there, by the way.
Yeah.
He just takes 3 steps.
Yep, it's right there.
And the department's flamethrower.
Yeah.
fully
is there.
fueled flamethrower.
yeah,
Ready to go.
like this
Just
is like a
don't-
Vietnam era
Don't turn it.
flamethrower.
Don't turn it off. If you turn it off, it won't turn on again.
Yeah.
We need those forms.
He
though.
He holds a shotgun to him and is like, "I will have forms. Here's my forms." So they get the flamethrower.
Yeah, because he loads a single shotgun shell and levels it. Which is, if you've seen Terminator, you feel good that Dick Miller survived this one. Maybe
We cut back to the sorority house.
Yeah.
And
One more thing. The fraternity.
the fraternity.
Bus. We can't forget the bus.
They're driving to the formal.
Yeah.
Everyone's like
they're on the same
throwing
campus, but they're
beer
driving to
again.
the formal.
Yeah.
The bus driver, he's driving, and the fucking dog that
The
infected
zombie dog
Brad
comes out.
is sitting in the middle of the street.
Yeah, and
the driver goes, "Ho!" and just steers to
So
the
there's
right.
a whole bus. So like every
Swerves the
good
whole
bus
bus.
driver, they are trained to, when you see a small animal, you have to swerve and kill everybody on the bus.
His eyes literally lit
You
up.
mean the large Marge?
No.
Yeah.
You mean the large
Yeah,
Marge
they
moment?
did.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's like the eyes went up.
No, they
outside
did
of
a
his skull.
that was a fucking Mad Max shit where at the end when they kill the main villain where his eyes
his
pop
eyes
out.
popped
That was
out. Yeah,
basically
yeah.
that.
The driver swerved on the side of the street. That was the only side that had vehicles.
Yeah.
Just hit the dog.
Just hit the dog.
Like,
just hit
we
the
don't
dog,
want dogs
yeah.
to die, but if you don't know it was a zombie dog,
If it's a whole bunch, if it's one dog and 20 people, they're frat guys, so it's
I'm
roughly
sorry,
equal.
Pebbles, you gotta go.
It's not well. To be honest,
Yes.
it's frat guys. It's roughly equal.
Oh, that's fair. That's
It's
fair.
roughly equal. That's-
Pebbles, you get to survive this one.
So this is the zombie moment, though, going back to the sorority house, where it's almost like Dawn of the Dead, where like they still retain a little bit of their memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fucking Cronenberg comes down and grabs his hand.
Doesn't even look at
Doesn't
him.
look at him and goes, "All right, we got to have a talk, Brad." They sit down and she's having a heart to heart with him
while
and
he's vomiting slugs.
while
Yeah.
slugs
Well,
are
no,
just falling out of his mouth.
the first part, it's a little thing. He's just like drool the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just
Wide
coming
open.
out of his wide open mouth. Oh my God.
And then, like, Chris and the detective show up, and Chris has got a flamethrower, and knows how to use it. Apparently,
Cynthia, look out! And she immediately ducks out of the way. Detective Cameron takes the gun, blows his head clear open, slugs everywhere, flamethrower on. Fucking! This is the purge. Goddamn!
and then Chris just turns to her and goes, "I'm sorry."
She's
Traumatized. Here, have this flamethrower.
Yeah, and then it's like,
no, it wasn't the flamethrower.
No, not at
because there's a
first.
problem. So he like goes in the house and say, "Someone call the cops." Yeah, you do that. It's like all things.
Right.
And then it's like, I'm really sorry I had to do that. He hands her the shotgun.
Here's the shotgun, it'll
with the
make you
line,
feel better.
Here, hold this. You'll feel better.
Yeah.
What is that? Who? This was written in a week.
yeah.
we cut back to the bus. All the frat boys, they're zombified. They're
Right,
getting
Because
up.
the dog crawled into the
Into the
bus,
bus.
so they're all
and
getting
just
out,
spooted slugs in there.
and
everywhere.
they're all crawling out and
Yeah.
everything, and of course they head towards the sorority because that's what frat guys do.
And then we cut back to the sorority, and now Cynthia is wearing the flamethrower, and he has
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
shotgun.
They've swapped weapons
They
for some
swapped
reason.
weapons.
The detective goes, "The good news, girls, is that your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead."
Yeah.
Which is a tagline from the movie.
Yeah,
the
that's
tagline.
on the poster.
Yeah.
The study girl actually is the one that said, "What's the bad news?"
Yeah.
It's like they're dead.
Yeah.
Right.
He says this with a cigarette in his mouth, the gun in his hand. This is so farcical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
So now it's Chris and Cynthia just shooting heads and using the flamethrower to kill the zombies.
yeah,
Right.
and they're just
To kill
wiping
the
them out.
slugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, to stop the zombies. It's like, and then we cut back into the house, and it's study girl and Detective Cameron. Cameron's like, "Lock that door.
The
That's
same fucking
95% glass. Lock it. That'll secure everything."
And she goes to lock it, and then a hand pulls through.
Goes through the glass.
Yeah.
Goes through the glass.
Right. Like it would.
Cameron shoots the head of the zombie.
And
Slugs come out.
then immediately thinks, "Oh wait, Aquanet and fucking
And,
now
and a cigarette.
and a cigarette." Okay, now during the screening, someone I don't want to say that's
I
not
did.
how that works. Okay, so going back to my college years. This for legal reasons this never happened. For anecdotal
In
reasons,
Roblox.
Yeah,
as the
real
children
talk,
say.
Yes, but for anecdotal reasons, we had two guys on our floor that love to just do pranks all the time. And one time they got some aerosol air deodorant and a lighter, and they were going to the doors. And they were lighting. They would and you knock on the door and say, "Hey, what?" And then they would immediately like do flamethrower you at your face.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
wonderful.
Yeah, that was not cool, and
No.
we didn't like it. So they did that to us, and it's like motherfuckers. And like they go down to the corner room. Now the corner room this is completely anecdotal. This never happened, but one of my dear friends in my freshman year in college was a reserve on the Ole Miss football team. He was 6'8" and he was over 300 pounds, and none of that was fat. His roommate was about 2 feet shorter and a whole lot lighter, and so they were expecting to knock on the door. So they aimed it down at the person they got, and instead they got the bigger guy, and it was like they were trying to flamethrower his dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
My friend got very upset by this.
Of
So
course.
he picked up he literally grabbed him by the face and just smashed him into the wall.
Sure.
And the guy that had the thing, it's like he's got them both. He's got his foot down on this guy's chest, lit the thing, and is like spraying him. He's like, "See how you like that motherfucker? See how you like that motherfucker?" And then I'm watching this because now it's funny. It's
Sure.
finally
Yeah.
funny. The
Sure.
joke finally hit.
Yeah.
The flame started going up the tube.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I noticed this, and I go, blank, the flame's going up the tube. He takes it, he flings it up into the roof. It goes through like the shitty like fucking cardboard shingle shit, and fucking lays out there. We all go into our rooms. It blew up and killed the power relay for the whole floor. We were like a week without electricity. And when the cops came in, we all blamed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they went to jail. That, again, none of that was real. That was an anecdotal story that happened to
I
me.
think
This all
the
happened
reason
in
Yeah,
Minecraft.
I said
This
it
all
wasn't
happened in
real
Minecraft.
because the way he did
cigarette.
it was
Right.
he took his cigarette
He took a
and
cigarette.
then sprayed Aquanet
I
to
guess,
it.
I
Right.
guess because of history, I see a lighter
Right.
there.
It
So,
was a
okay, my
cigarette.
bad. My bad.
That's what I knew that was possible.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen, but
Right.
I was like, you can't spray a fucking cigarette and that work like that. But regardless, it works. But then more come in, and then he starts go. Then he goes like crazy and just starts shooting everybody.
Which he shouldn't.
Okay. So they start coming in, and then Study Girl is actually a zombie now.
Right.
We
Yeah.
never see her infected.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she grabs it and pulls him to the ground, and he's like, "Ugh," and like he can't get the fight to like fight her off. But then he looks up and sees like this was her sorority.
Yeah.
Time to fight like hell.
Yeah.
Picks up the gun, levels it directly at her head, and fires it. And that is like they don't cut away from the muzzle flash.
Right.
They do that afterward. And we forgot the most important. The first zombie that came in, he goes, "It's Miller time."
Oh,
and
yeah.
shoots him in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot that part. That's
Right.
It's very good in plot development.
Right.
And then he just like they do this spin zoom around him as he's literally wasting everyone away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they do like a Sam Raimi Evil Dead zoom into the doorknob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
There are
we
a
go
whole
back
bunch
to
of dolly zooms,
Chris
too, in
and
this one.
Cynthia. They're fighting outside. They
They found Unibrow again.
yeah. Well, they
Unibrow and Friends.
well they get onto the side where zombies are coming from both sides. So they run into this like side gardening. It's like a shed that holds like gardening.
Yeah.
tools and
That's
stuff.
nothing but lattice.
There's nothing in there. There's
Yeah.
no way out of it except
Yeah.
for that. And then Chris is like, "Oh, this was a wonderful idea."
And it's a master lock. Master lock my ass. He taps it twice. He doesn't
Yeah.
even put force on the shotgun. He
Right.
taps it twice with a shotgun.
Yeah.
It just falls
Also,
off.
like the shotgun keeps jamming, which like a pump shotgun doesn't jam like that. But that's neither here nor there.
this was written by Californians. So
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
say
back
that.
then they actually knew about shit like that. But regardless,
She sticks the flamethrower right to the head of the zombie.
yeah,
and
she
turns
sticks
him-
so cool.
and
Yeah.
blows his brains out. Then one from the
'Cause
other
she's a
side.
psychology major.
Then one from her side grabs her through and
pulls her backwards.
Yeah, pulls her back, and it's Unibrow, so she's fighting him. There's a lawnmower, a push lawnmower. So he cranks that up and tells her to get out of the way and runs Unibrow over. So that's a cool kill.
9 years before Dead Alive.
Yeah, I was thinking like who watched this because I didn't remember when Dead Alive came out.
93.
Yeah, shit. What happens next? I can't remember.
Well, they turn off the flamethrower. That's what happens next.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
he turns off the flamethrower.
Oh yeah, everything's calmed down, so they've turned off the flamethrower. But then they see all these slugs. They're going underneath the house into the basement. So they're like, "Oh, we got to go in there underneath the basement."
I want to think at this point, all four of us would like had like our minds melted, like, "Oh shit, the brain's in the basement."
Yeah. Well, I remembered that. I was just waiting this whole time.
Chris is like, "What's in the basement?" Nothing.
Oh shit.
Just stuff and brains.
Yeah, I've watched the movie so many times. Like even at 13, I'm like, oh god, the brains are in the basement. That was me at 13.
Yeah.
So
they go down to the basement.
They go down to the basement as they're coming out. Like they're telling everybody, "Get out, get out." So we're supposed to assume that everybody's out.
Yeah.
They get down and there's just like slugs everywhere, and
There's
fucking
no light or anything.
the fucking detective is there with a can of gas and duct tape over his mouth.
It's like a jump cut to him.
Duct tape over his mouth, which he then in the next minute rips the fuck off. A slug tries to go in. He grabs him, going, "Not today, fucker," and just flings him around. I did that like Harley race. Like
He tells them to like get out because they can't, because the flamethrower isn't working. They can't get it restarted because they fucking turned it off.
And in the corner of the basement, there's just this mound of slugs.
Yeah, and he starts counting, but not in any discernible like
20.
rhythm.
Backwards 20. From 20.
19. 18. Like no discernible rhythm or anything.
Chris gets the idea.
They start
let's
running.
leave.
1 minute 21:25 to 1 minute 22:40. The 20-second countdown.
He's running out and he's like 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 14. And I'm like, this is not how this works.
They get out of the house and he gets the cigarette out and lights it up and goes, "Thrill me."
Yeah, of course he says his catchphrase.
No, he didn't. No, Chris says it.
Oh, Chris says it.
Yeah, he goes, "For three." Like the last thing you see of Tom Atkins before the boom is 3. He goes, and then cuts to Chris and Cynthia. He goes, 1, detective, thrill me.
And then
boom, and then everything
boom,
blows up.
And then everything's on fire. There's a whole bunch of slugs try to attack him right before he does it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like, oh man, this is 80s. Yes,
the guy gets the girl.
Oh yeah, they kiss each other.
Yeah. And then nice tucks.
Yeah,
and then we cut to
down the street.
Down the street is the smoking corpse
with a cop car passing right next to it.
Right.
It's Detective Cameron.
It's Detective
Just
Cameron
walking.
with a cigarette in his mouth.
Burnt to his crisp.
He falls down and then his head explodes and slugs come out and they go to the cemetery.
Crestridge Cemetery.
And then we see a light shine on one of the...
Wait. You see a real shot of a actual sign, Crestridge Cemetery. Mm-hmm. Cut to with a scroll up into black. Cut to a miniature, basically a miniature area of a miniature graveyard.
This looks like the graveyard, the miniature graveyard from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
So
they could have pulled this from Nightmare Before Christmas.
The light shines and then you look up and it's the
alien ship from like an hour and a half ago.
They can do interstellar travel, but they have to search with search beams.
The aliens from an hour and a half ago, but also 30 years ago.
Right.
They finally made it here, I guess. I don't know. Like all good movies, it sets up directly for a sequel
that never ever happened.
There wasn't a Night of the Creeps 2?
No.
Huh.
No. There's a movie that calls itself Night of the Creeps 2, but didn't get the permission to do it. Yes. So
they all the critters.
That ending was the director's preferred ending. That was not the original theatrical ending.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we have the house blows up and then it goes. They're hugging. She steps away from Chris and she sees, oh, it's the dog, and then a dog shoots a slug at her mouth. The end.
No.
Okay.
This is a way better ending.
Oh yeah.
This is a supremely better ending. I was terrified Tubi might have both versions and we might accidentally see the bat. No, this is a way better ending because at the very least we start out hokey in camp and we end out hokey in camp.
Right. Well, like Army of Darkness, like the actual theatrical ending of Army of Darkness was the bad ending that they actually had to go back and post and change because it got such negative reactions from the. And if you watch that movie, if you watch the DVD, you can see that when the priest got the wizard or whatever, the Merlin-like character is explaining to Bruce Campbell how to do the thing or whatever, it's his lips do not match.
Yeah.
Yep.
So so Jay, what made you pick this movie to be like your intro to horror movie?
Very, very good. Yeah, because that for I think for a lot of us, I think all of us has been one of the factors back behind. This is a Whitman sampler of horror, of American horror specifically.
Yeah.
You have Alien. You have Alien Invasion specifically. You have body horror. You have slasher.
Zombie horror.
Yeah, you have zombie horror. You have very little bit, but with Tom Atkins, you have noir horror. You have a lot of different horrors that if you like, this is not a movie you watch alone. You watch with a friend, and what did they pick up on the most? And that's the horror movies that you suggest to them. So again, this to me, it's like if you don't like the orange cream, maybe you like the caramel. If you don't like the caramel, maybe you like the nougat. You have a little bit of everything. This is where you gauge, and it's like, if the overall horror comedy is what they love, you go with stuff like that. Yeah. So the driving force behind this, this movie encapsulates so much of American film horror,
especially like the drive-in movie type.
Well, again, Decker's insistence was this was a send-up for B movies.
Right.
He wanted to make a B movie in the 1980s.
Right.
And again, just the reverence that he has for everyone, particularly the notion that Corman University, it's like this one over thing over all of this. It's kind of like Roger Corman and like the B horror movies that he made. Like it's kind of I won't say hanging over this, but kind of has its kind of skeen on all of it.
I think another thing too, one of the reasons why this movie didn't take off in the 80s, because I saw this on HBO like a year after it came out. Is mainly because if you watch this movie and you watch everything that happens in this movie, there's no way they could market this movie.
Yeah.
Like there's literally no way you can sell this movie anywhere because it's got so much shit going on.
Yeah.
It's impossible to try and, market this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, like the poster, it's like, hey, ladies, your dates are here. Bad news is they're dead.
Well, it's marketed.
That's a scene.
Right.
If you tried to base, this is what the movie's like. The first minute immediately shakes you from that immediately.
Yeah, the cover of the movie is basically just like a zombie in a window kind of situation. The VHS and the DVD.
Yeah,
and the poster I think is the same, although there's been different versions of the art on that. So yeah, they sell it as a zombie movie. They sell this movie as a zombie movie, and it's not. It's got zombies in it, ish.
Would you say they made a movie with zombies in it?
I would say that.
There you go.
Yeah, I do appreciate that reasoning because there is so much in this movie. I think that is a good idea. Man, there are parts of this movie that drag though. Whew, man.
Oh yeah, no. This is. I love this movie. It is not a good movie.
Yeah.
There are good parts about this.
Yeah.
Some of the performances, again, JC, I think he went above and beyond.
I think it mainly like besides just.
I think it needed somebody
better
doing over the. Yeah, it needed a better like main character.
Main character, yeah, for sure.
If somebody was better, but it also needed if it had one part like nobody. Even like the detective guy, like he's a lot, but he doesn't feel like he's going super over the top. If it had somebody who was like super over the top and very and like nobody is like super entertaining to watch. Like even though like JC is a good character, but he's not like fun to watch. They didn't have anybody like that. And I think that could have like carried it through those moments of where like we didn't. Like the part where we're waiting for the fucking first zombie guy to get to the girl's window is so, and it doesn't build up tension. You just get like,
Yeah.
just get fucking, because we
Well,
watch these feet walk like so fucking
There's
much.
a lot
and
of
it's 2 false jump scares before
Yeah.
you get the actual one.
Well,
to the
even-
point where even we said
Which
during
is
the
shit that
screening,
they
we thought
love
that was
to
another
do.
false jump scare.
We thought they love to do that shit in the 80s.
even with that in mind, I think it suffers from, if they would have had maybe another week with the script to tighten it up a little bit, to take those pacing issues out,
Yeah.
because that, again, what Brady said with them, with the establishing the zombie walking, we only need to see that once. We saw it like 4 times.
Yeah.
And it was
we
slow.
don't need him walking on the concrete and then the grass, and then
I've
we see
seen-
these getting closer to the
Now,
thing.
And then
This
it was up to
is
5. It was
Yeah.
this is not an extreme version of padding, but they
Yeah.
do pad out just by stretching out scenes. There are certain scenes that go like 2 to 10 to 15 seconds longer when
Yeah.
they're shooting somebody's face. There are films that do it terribly, like Oasis of the Zombies and Kill Baby Kill from Mario Bava, where
Yeah.
they're just walking for a long time and nothing's happening. And they do that in this movie, but it's only for 30-second intervals. So it's not unbearable, but you can notice it
Yeah,
for sure.
it's
And-
noticeable, and that's
and
the
here again, I
problem.
wonder if that wasn't because again, Bava's name is in the movie. I wonder if that was maybe like a send up to Bava.
I think
doing
it.
things.
I think it was because they didn't have enough to shoot. I think that the script was shorter than it probably needed to be, and they probably could have done a little bit more.
The fact that this is an hour and a half movie makes me think that it probably wasn't that. But then there is also so many other references. But there's not a lot of like stylistic references. It's a lot of like, here's a name, here's a set design, or here's a or a creature design or something.
And
like
only
that.
reason why I mentioned all of that is because Jay tells me like this movie was written in a week, which means that they probably were rushed when they made
Yeah.
it. They probably made this movie in a week.
Yeah.
So there were probably things that were added to this just to stretch out time.
probably.
I legitimately wonder if the "It's Miller Time" was just an ad lib, and it was like,
It's
"Hey, that's
very
pretty
possible.
funny," and
Oh,
we'll just
yeah,
leave it in
sure.
there.
It's
Sure.
very possible. The fucking thrill me thing might have been an ad lib that somebody found hilarious, but I don't know. This is definitely like it's a cult classic, and it's that for a reason.
Compared to other cult classics, I would say if I was gonna like do a numbered rating, it would be like a 3 out of a 5 kind of situation for me.
Yeah, I would probably. For me, it's like smack dab in the middle. It's like a 2.5 out of 5. It's just because when it gets going, like it's fun, but it takes so fucking long.
It doesn't seem to get
once
going
you get over that whiplash of like going to space
Back in-
aliens, 1950s, 1980s, and then everything kind of calms down, and we have to follow. Again, if the main character was like, this could have been like a phenomenal movie if the main character was just like better, like the person playing them was better, or if we had that like over the top character who was like, oh, when they're on screen, it's like, oh shit.
If we would
okay,
have had
this is-
Donald Pleasance as the
Yeah.
detective, maybe.
Yeah.
Also,
No, I think Tom Atkins is perfect.
Tom Atkins, yeah, he's
Right.
he's really really good at it, but maybe him as like some other character or something, like somebody is just an over the top character that would have been fun to watch. And that's the
Right.
thing, is like nobody is fun to watch. Is the only, and I think that's why when it dips down, you feel it, because there's nobody like bringing you back up. You have to wait until like shit really pops off.
which is not until like an hour plus.
Yeah, it was like
The last 20 minutes, really.
20, 30 minutes ish was like
Yeah.
when it really popped off. But then it was like fun.
when things were happening.
But there was a long time where we were just kind of sitting here watching the movie because nothing was really happening, and there was nothing really interesting to like, react to. But yeah, I do like the reasoning that you pick for this is like very, very good, because there's a lot of little bits that you can pick from, and be
A lot
like,
of tropes.
if somebody goes, oh, I like this, and you go, well, here, I have something else for you. That's good.
The 7 times I've only watched this twice with no one else. The first time was the first time I ever watched it, and then I watched this last night actually to prep for this, because I wanted my notes. I wanted like the talking points, and also digging into this movie and finding out just some of the stuff that surrounded was absolutely fascinating. But no, every other time I have ever watched this movie, it is to gauge people's reactions,
Sure.
and see what type of horror movies they are.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's good use for it.
You also have like what I like the sorority genre where
Yeah.
it's like
Right.
which I know it's kind of limiting there, but like the kind of like that's where you like your Friday the 13th, your Nightmares on Elm Street's like young people
Slumber Party Massacre.
Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah.
Yep.
1 and 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl-orama. That was a USA.
That's a David Dakota film.
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like college horror as the genre.
There is a genre of college horror.
Yeah, and you
For
got
sure.
you got some that go like super extreme, like fucking the original, not that remake that they made, but where it's Black Christmas.
Black Christmas,
yeah.
1974.
Yeah, where they're trapped in that
probably like
sorority.
the establishing slasher genre.
Yeah.
really.
The phone calls, which are fucking, they put you right on fucking.
And
edge.
it was sort of like ahead of its time as being a dark comedy, but on the darker side.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But
Absolutely.
I enjoy it. It's not a movie I'd go back to again by myself anytime soon.
This is a watch with friends
Because
Yeah,
I
definitely.
100%.
I watched it the first time. Again, I was a teenager the first time I saw this movie, a year or 2 years after it came out, and I enjoyed it thoroughly because I like cheese anyway, and it's got all the cheese you could ever want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's definitely
I
cheesy.
fairly enjoyed this movie.
There you go.
It was a good ride, good popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad-
Popcorn is also a good movie.
One of my hallmarks. I'm glad everybody enjoyed it because I hate wasting anybody's time with stuff they don't like to enjoy.
yeah.
So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, passengers, we are pulling into the station. Thank you very much for taking the ride with us this week. If you've enjoyed what you've listened to here, we've got some friends that we would like you to listen to. Brady, Whiskey and Wrestling.
Jason Holder and Michael Hill, they talk about wrestling. They pair it with a libation, usually whiskey, sometimes other things.
We followed
not
the
as good.
footsteps as we also enjoyed a libation.
Yeah, we tried the
Tried the blackberry, crown with lemonade.
which I had tried before and have talked up, and I'm glad that it held up because it's really good. And it is really, and Holder, you are right, it is really good with lemonade.
Dangerously so.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it will be a treat in my freezer.
if you want to see hear two guys complain about the current state of wrestling and then drink their sorrows away, try them anywhere the podcasts can be gotten.
You should have said juiced, maybe.
As it's
Officially
late, I'm not
squeezed.
feeling.
That's fair.
my creativity is at an all-time low.
Jody, self-promotion.
Fearology. Spotify.
Ethan, the card
Very
flingers.
avant-garde of you.
Thank you.
The completed podcast, Magic. Listen to it.
He ripped me off.
Good artists copy and great artists steal.
Jay, the drum guys. I'm the scat man.
There's drums in that, right?
I'm the scat
There
man.
are drums. That's drum and bass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bearded drums, however, Stephen Nelson II, Jared, and our friend Jared Taylor, who gave us some feedback this week. Thank you for doing podcasts. Please get back to it, gentlemen. Next week, for the capper for our Omnibus Horror Theater, we're going to be talking about horror in general.
Horror movies.
Horror movies to get
things we expect from horror movies.
what we like to offer up to say, hey, do you want to get into horror? These are the things we listen to.
How do you
discussion.
sell? How do you sell?
more
horror?
general discussion. How do you sell? What are some other things, other movies that might be some go-to movies? When we talked about this, we didn't talk about any of like the classics really. We kind of threw a wide net with these, so maybe we'll talk more about them.
Well, we have talked about the classics before.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about like when it,
Right,
like we could.
right,
There
for this
are
month,
some
yeah.
like definitely classic horror movies where you could have been like, this is what you get somebody into horror.
Sure.
And we'll probably talk about those
Yeah.
during that. But like also like what are things that you look for when you're getting somebody into horror and things like that. So yeah,
I think that's pretty much it.
I think that's pretty much it.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time around the table for Travelers on the Omnibus. My name is James McCarthy.
I'm Brady Davis.
I'm Jody K.
I'm Ethan Skinner.
Thanks for stopping by and enjoying the ride, guys.
Are
you drumming right now?
Are you taking me home, or what's happening with that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we better cut this long pause.
It's almost.
Yeah.
It's almost.
All right.
It's almost.
Okay. Get out of my house.
We're out.
Get out.
I need